Good morning, gearheads. We're back. Go to blindmike.net for all things Blind Mike, including the entire Why Are You Laughing series, and also the Patreon link, where a lot of Blind Mike original content resides. On today's show, Blind Mike just built a house, but he didn't have to because he owns a palatial estate in the brain tissue of one Dave Portnoy. Karl, from Who Are These Podcasts, met the man who will most likely be responsible for Karl disappearing off the planet. We learn why Maron is leaving the disgusting world of podcasting. All that, plus Chris D'Elia, Brendan Schaub, and more. And now, your host, a man who taunts billionaires, builds dream homes, and hires only documented numbskulls, Blind Mike Geary.
Hey, it's just me, alone on Father's Day. Poetic, in a way. The rest of the crew will be here in a minute. I think you'll figure out why I'm starting this alone momentarily. But, of course, I want to tell you to go to blindmike.net as we start today's show. That's where you can find everything that I do, whether it be Who Are These Socials, Why Are You Laughing, or the Blind Mike Project. Leave a 5-star review wherever you get podcasts. If you listen, or if you watch on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching live right now, as we are most Sundays at 10 a.m., then like, subscribe, comment. It helps more people find the show. If you didn't catch it, go check out last week's interview with Patrick Melton. I thought he was very enjoyable. We did get, someone said, it seems like you don't know anything about Nobody Likes Onions or Patrick Melton. And I was like, yeah, I didn't. That's why we did the interview, so I could learn more about him. So it was a novice's edition of the Patrick Melton world, which I thought was pretty interesting. So go check that out. Blindmike.net is where you get all those links. You can also become a member on Patreon or YouTube for as little as $5 a month. Craig and I just recorded Sam Hyde versus Tim Heidecker for Why You Laughing, and we're going to have to redo the episode because StreamYard crashed globally. So we will do that, and that'll be up soon. So if you want early Why You Laughings, you'll get them months before anyone else. We're taking a summer break from Why You Laughing, but it will be up for members right now as we record them. So look out for that. We also are now doing bonus episodes of the Blind Mike Project on Tuesdays. We just did one last week where we talked about a podcast war that we're engaged in, as well as some other stuff. So check that out on Patreon or YouTube, or just support the show for free. We appreciate you guys. So I wanted to talk today. I wanted to start the program by talking about a man who gave me my big break in showbiz. Dave Portnoy has brought me up on the unnamed show fairly often. And so I figured I would take the opportunity today to let everyone know why he hates me so much, because he brings me up and says, I'm pretty much the most hated guy in his life. And I don't really understand the level of anger, but I do get why he dislikes me. So that's what today is about. Now, I want to go over this in excruciating detail. So we will play a bunch of clips from the past, but I will first say, if you clicked on this video and you're like, I don't have 45 minutes or however long this is to waste on why Dave hates some worthless asshole, I will just give you the Reader's Digest version. He doesn't like the cut of my jib. And even just the way I delivered that sentence, he probably wouldn't care for. I'm a nerd, and he's a bro, or however you want to stereotype us. But he doesn't like... I don't pass muster with old Davey Page views. He doesn't like me. Doesn't like who I am as a guy. But I think there's more to it than that. So we will break it down. And it starts with, we'll just get right into it, the unnamed show clip that kind of inspired me to do this. So my name comes up every so often on the unnamed show, and Dave mentions how much he hates me. And people have asked me, like, why? Dave's very famous. You can, if he doesn't have Beyond Average Mick on his show, it makes national news. So he's a very well-known guy. Why does this famous man hate you? So we'll hear his version, and then I'll give mine after that. But this is from the unnamed show this past Wednesday.
I don't know how long he hasn't worked here, but he's one of those guys, a little Blind Mike-ish.
So I'll just pipe up, just for context, they're talking about a guy named Michelangelo who left the company and has a lot of sour grapes. He held on to the Monkey Boy documentary that he was working on. He like held that hostage. So I guess he hates the company because he got laid off. And Dave is now comparing me to that guy, Michelangelo.
Something, and then he'll be like, "Why are you getting mad at me? Like,
Mike,
what did I do?" It's
and
like
Mike's been killing you on this. Like, who's the old Dave
sure, I
Portnoy?
haven't
No free
seen it.
speech. Like,
I haven't
it's
seen
been bad.
it. Thank
Bad.
God. I try to avoid it because I know, like, Blind Mike's one of those rare individuals. I hate him.
It's become. It used to be something I would get very. No, why is Kirk doing that? I would get very like worked up over it. It's now become one of my favorite things to watch Kirk just completely dupe Portnoy into thinking I've been bashing him relentlessly over the last few weeks. Where he goes, "Oh, yep, you wouldn't believe it, Dave." It's very fun, and he sells it perfectly to where Portnoy just fully believes him. It's very funny.
So much.
Just
the thought of him triggers me. Just thinking about it when he was sitting in Milton with that magnifying glass because he can't see the computer, working, literally getting like, "Hey, can you do this thing?" It takes him all day because he can't see, and being like so bad at his job that he couldn't work here, not because he's blind, because he sucks. And then he's always lobbing grenades and then being like, "Woe is me."
Yeah.
He just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I know it's been bad. Glad
I haven't seen it.
If you
threw a wallet at his face,
he did.
Blind.
That was to test if he was blind. And by the way,
blind.
Whitney,
He's blind. He's blind.
By the way, Whitney, he was so bad at his interview. There was no way he was getting hired. He's the one. He's like, "I'm blind. You can make fun of it." I'm like, "We can? Then maybe you have some value."
Okay.
so he's not wrong, by the way. There's some myth out there that like I'm bitter because Dave made fun of my blindness. I'm the one that said, "Do that. I'm blind. You can make fun of it." So he's 100% right about my time as an intern. I made content there where it was like, I play spike ball and ping pong and like basically watch Mike be blind. And I started really resting on that and not trying anywhere near my hardest. What I should have been doing is like the comedy stuff that I talk about now. And I don't know that it would have worked or gotten any reception, but that was my big hang up. That's what prevented me from doing it, was fear, where I probably should have been reviewing comedy specials. Or I specifically remember sitting at my desk listening to Opie and Jim, the first big fight that Opie and Jim had. And I was listening to that in the office while I was just doing other stuff. What I should have done is just write a blog about that. Like, there's a segment of Barstool's audience that crosses over with that world or would have been interested in just a radio war or something. But I didn't have that mindset. There was a woe is me element to it. I think in some of the clips that we're going to play, I think Dave misuses the term woe is me. But a big thing I noticed is like, I went to a program for the blind, as many of you know, 5 years ago now, basically. And that's something I should have done when I was 15. And that it helped my confidence a great deal. I was in therapy 3 times a week, all this stuff. It helped me learn technology, stuff that I should have done when I was a kid. But again, it was like resting on, like, this is just the way things are for me. And there was a woe is me element to everything I was doing. And there was a self-deprecating thing I would do that I thought I was being like funny. Like, I maybe even getting ahead of the joke or whatever it was. But there was an attitude I would present, like, this is probably going to suck, but here it is, like that sort of thing. I think at the time I thought that was like charming. Like, I thought like, see, like I can poke fun at myself. I think the way other people heard it was like, this guy wants us to feel bad for him. So that's not an intentional thing. When he would say that back in the day, I would always think like, I'm not being woe is me because I don't want you to feel bad for me. I didn't realize it was the attitude I was putting across. So Dave is right about my internship there, but where it's gotten lost is he's acting like that's why he hates me, is because I was a bad employee. I was an intern there for a year and they moved to New York. I never thought I would be invited, and I wasn't. So I went on my merry way for the next 3 years until I linked up with the Kirk Minahan show, obviously. And when I was brought on, I'm not going to say Dave was doing cartwheels, but there was never like, oh, that asshole. Like Dave, the way he's remembered it in his brain is that I've always been a guy that shits on Barstool because of sour grapes or something. There was really never that. This all started when I started working for Kirk, and he's kind of compartmentalized it as I was a guy who didn't get a job, so I was bitter. But that's really not the truth. I didn't deserve a job at that time. So now we're going back almost 6 years ago. I think this is the fall of 2019. And there were a couple instances, there are a couple of things to set this up for those that don't remember or don't know. It is funny too, because even people that like found the Kirk Minahan show within the last few years might not have even seen this interaction. But when I started with Kirk's show, I forget what happened, but we were playing a clip of Barstool Radio, and I said that Tommy Smokes was boring on that show. He didn't really talk. And I don't think I was necessarily wrong about that. I will say I was way off about Tommy. I get what he does now and find him funny. I've said that before, like watching Surviving Barstool and seeing a couple sketches that he's in. I get it way more now. So I was way off on him. I was speaking out of pocket, as they say. But I don't think I was wrong about the Barstool Radio clips we were playing necessarily. Also, this coincides with, if I remember right, and maybe people can correct me in the comments, but if I remember right, this is also around the same time of the first K. Marco incident, where Andrew Dice Clay was on Kirk's show and said something about the Michael Jackson documentary. He made some joke that Michael Jackson was innocent, or so. I forget exactly what Dice said, but Steve Robinson put it in a blog headline that Dice said this on the show. K. Marco nixed it. And that's when I believe I started saying things like, boy, that seems weird for a place like Barstool to be worried about what other people think of that, like how people are going to twist their headlines. It seems strange for them to be worried about, the PC police reacting to them. I was surprised by that. So I started taking shots, as Dave calls them, in that way. So both those things culminate here, where Tommy reacted to me poking fun at him, and then they call me on for a trial on Barstool Radio.
When I said it 4 months ago.
What do you expect to happen when you just take insults? If you're in somebody else's shoes, Tommy's or anybody's, and you repeatedly take shots?
Did you hear what I just said? Tommy was right for being pissed at me and responding.
Yeah, but then you also said it's like radio. We're just talking about the show and go. What is? Like,
it is.
What?
It is radio, and we're just talking. What am I supposed to do?
That's a difference.
Tommy's off. Hey, Kirk. Let's move off this subject.
It's not just Tommy. It's anybody. It's anybody. It's anybody. It's not a joke.
All right, so anybody. And
that's what your show does. Hey, let me tell you something, you fucking blind fuck. That's what your show does.
Pause real quick. The only problem I have with that, the only part that made me know, you can call me a blind fuck. Don't refer to it as my show. That makes me very nervous. It's Kirk's show. Everyone knows that. Don't put that on me, Dave.
Said everybody, including in here, and then Kirk doesn't, but you do the woe is me. You make enemies all around. I don't give a fuck, but when you guys are off on your own and you burn your next bridge and off on your own.
What is this woe is me thing you're talking about?
That's what you do. That's what you do. It's a joke. Why are you getting so mad? Woe is me.
Yeah, so I think he's misusing that there, where I say it's a joke. I'll try and explain what I mean. Like, again, you could say taking shots or making fun of, or however you want to phrase it, but I was basically shitting on Tommy. I didn't think I was doing it in a malicious way, but I didn't mean it. I did mean when I said he was boring, like I meant that. That was from a real place. But what I was trying to say there was, I didn't think it was so serious that it would lead to me being on trial and having to respond in a serious way. I always think of Opie and Anthony relentlessly bashed Scott Shannon for years, and went sometimes like really in like real like personal stuff. Like they would really go after guys on the radio. And then years later, and I mean years and years, like there's a much longer history there. Scott Shannon called into their show and goes, "Why am I talking to you two assholes?" And they go, "Hey, Scott," and everything's fine. So in my mind, like if Tommy heard those clips and was like, "Who is this fucking nobody making fun of me?" I thought that's all it had to be. I was very surprised that it was like a serious trial. Now, with years of hindsight, here's what I think this was. I think Dave looks at this as disloyalty, which I get from his perspective because I don't think he has the full context of what I was saying. But I think he looks at it from afar, just sees this guy that was an intern, was brought back not by Dave, but by Kirk. Like, if Dave had his choice, I never would have worked there again. So Dave sees this guy and he's like, oh, that's probably sour grapes. He's probably very used to dealing with employees like that, and just kind of put that on me as me doing the same thing. There's also sort of a hierarchy thing where it's like I was the lowest ranking employee at the company. Who am I to make fun of Tommy Smokes? I don't view the world in that way. I think a company that says you buy the common man for the common man, I would think the bottom guy is able to make fun of the top guy and vice versa. But Dave was always very clear that he didn't see it that way. He does treat people differently based on kind of their ranking, which he is very open about. But I remember maybe about a year ago, we played a clip from Kill Tony where the guy went up and did his minute and then took a dig at Tony, made like a roast joke. And it seemed like pretty innocuous to me as a listener. But Tony took that and goes, oh, you're one of these Reddit guys, and started going after him with all the venom that he's probably always wanted to give to the Kill Tony subreddit. And I was like, this is weird. Why is he doing that? And I think there are just certain guys that like see the world in that way, where Dave's a very black and white guy. You're either with him or against him, I think. And when he started seeing me pipe up on certain issues, he looked at that as against him. My thing was always, when the stuff mattered, I was always on his side. When he was getting shit for rapping the N-word, or when Business Insider went after him, I was always on what I consider to believe the right side of history there, and always defended him. But he wouldn't hear that stuff. He would just hear the little shots that I'd take. And I think that idea annoys him as well, where he thinks I'm a guy that's just kind of piping up and taking shots and then hiding behind the fact of like, oh, but I've defended you this time. I don't agree with that mentality, but I understand where he's coming from, and that's what he's trying to get across to me here.
My thing with him, and he should learn.
Oh, sorry. This needs a little more. So this is now Kirk calling in later. So I'm done with them. This is on the Minifan Show YouTube channel, by the way. Shout out to them for preserving it, because I don't know if I would have been able to find these old Barstool Radio clips if not for that. But this is now Kirk calling in later in the show, and Dave explaining why he's so mad at me.
From you is what drives me insane is, did you hear the beginning when he was like, it's a joke? And then 2 seconds later, it's like, so you don't think Tommy's boring? He's like, no, I think he's boring. That's what drives me crazy about Blind Mike. And
yeah, but you can joke about something that you think is true. I mean, both can.
But that's not a joke. Separate. How is saying someone's boring a joke if you mean it?
Well, because if they say something boring and you're kind of making a joke at the fact that it's boring, it can't be funny. I mean,
but it's not just with Tommy, but he does a lot. He'll say something that's not really jokey. It's just like, oh, you stink, or this or that. And when you call him on it,
hold on.
Like, oh.
That is my mentality. I'm very mean. That is my general MO. I'm just a nasty man, as most people know me. I also think part of this is Dave just doesn't think I'm funny and never will, and that's fine. And that comes up a lot in some of these arguments where if I'm like, I'm joking, he's like, well, it wasn't funny. I'm like, you don't think I'm funny, but what am I supposed to do about that? I can't change that. But Kirk is much better, as he so often does, at articulating my point here.
Oh, I was just joking. Don't get mad about that. That's what drives me insane about not only him, anybody who does that.
Well, okay, fine. Whatever. You can hate him. I really don't care. I like the guy. I don't think he's talentless. I don't think he's talented, but he's somewhere in between.
That is, I want that on my headstone one day. That's actually the nicest compliment I've ever got. And I think it does sum me up pretty well. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think you hear it there, where Dave just doesn't like the kind of guy I am, I guess. Again, I don't understand why it's resulted in the level of hatred he has for me, but like, I get it. I do get why he wouldn't like me. I don't necessarily get why he hates me, but I totally get why he wouldn't like me if he was in his shoes. So I believe the next clip, we're going to some of the stunts that I pulled. Is that right, Casey? Do I have that in the correct order?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So to, again, set this one up, if you remember me yelling, I have a question for Sam Kennedy while I'm being dragged out of, it was the Springfield casino. which is at the time newly built. And I think their arena that they had was, I think it was an MGM casino. And I think the arena might be the MGM arena now. I'm not really sure. But I went to a Red Sox event and purposely disrupted it and got dragged out and all that. Unknowingly at this time, and I think this is a cause for the friction here as well. I had no idea that from the time I started, more or less, because I found out this years later, but I'm pretty sure, and you guys can correct me again if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm pretty sure in years after this that when Dave talked about Francis getting fired, he said part of that was because the Penn deal had just started being kind of thrown around. Like the idea of them being bought out by Penn National, this big gambling company, just started around June of 2019. And then so Francis got fired for his blog post. So it did create this world where Dave was very on edge about this deal and was worried someone was going to fuck it up. So me going into a casino and purposely being disruptive was one of those things that he was worried was going to get fucked up. So after that, it got into his head that I am a terrorist out to take down Barstool Sports. So Kirk went to Miami for the Super Bowl in, I think it was the end of January, the last week of January, 2019. Might have been the first week of February. I forget when that week lined up. But I'm sorry, in 2020 rather, right before the pandemic. And Kirk is down there, but his show wasn't supposed to be down there. Me and Steve, the fans paid for me to get down, and I think Kirk says in this clip that Milton sponsored Steve Robinson getting down there. So me and Steve joined him, and then when I got down there, I found out I wasn't allowed to do anything, so it was an entirely wasted trip. I said I was going to go to Media Day, and Dave called me personally, which never happened before, and said, you're not doing that. Why are you here? That sort of thing. And so this is Kirk and Dave talking about that right now.
With you. So the only thing I'm concerned about.
I don't even know what you're rambling about.
No, I'm going to tell you the only thing I'm concerned about this week in Miami is Kirk Minahan and company.
Is that really true?
Yes.
You're concerned about me?
Kirk Minahan and company.
Okay, if company wasn't here, would you be concerned?
Far less.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh. Well,
I don't like or trust Blind Mike.
Sure, you've made that very clear. Yeah.
So the first thing I said to you today when I saw you was I want all Blind Mike stunts approved before he does them.
Sure.
He's 0 for 1. He asked me to do. He said he was planning on going to a drag bar tonight and pretending he thought it was media day.
Well, because you told him he couldn't try and get in the media night.
Right. So I said I was going to go to media day. He said absolutely not. So there was a drag bar right down the street from our hotel. So I said maybe it'd be funny if I showed up there. Hey, I'm blind. I don't know where I am. They sent me to the wrong address or something. Very glad I didn't do it in hindsight. It sounds like a shitty bit, but it was an idea I had. And Dave said no. I don't know how he thinks Kirk's show works, but I would never go off on my own with some insane stunt that's going to take down the company. It's just not how that show works. He looks at Kirk, and I think some of this is misdirected anger that he doesn't want to take out on Kirk or something, but he looks at that show as like he's terrified of it for some reason. He's always worried they're going to get him in trouble, whereas the only trouble it's caused is from Dave. Like Dave is the one angrily reacting to all this stuff. There hasn't been some major hit piece done on the Kirk Minahan show. The only one who's really cast aspersions on the show is Dave. He did it as recently as last week when he started shitting on the audience and stuff like that. So again, I didn't know. I don't know if Kirk knew at this time about the Penn deal. It was announced that week. So when he's saying this, when you hear him saying, like, I don't want Blind Mike doing any stunts, I have no idea that there's a $500 million deal hanging in the balance. But my intention was never to ruin the company, regardless of how much money was at stake. But that's just a misconception of me that he'll always have that I'll never convince him of. I've thought a lot about, like, when I was getting ready to do this segment, I was like, oh, there's a chance I'm dragged on to confront Portnoy. I have no real anger at him. Like, I don't know what I'm going to say. It's like, at this point, it's like, you don't like me. I don't like you. What are we going to talk about, really. And you're just going to shout at me and call me talentless, and I'm going to say, nah, it's not getting a lot done. But yeah, that's where he started to think I was a terrorist, basically, where I was out to take down the company. So now we move, I think, a little backwards in time. I think this is actually a month earlier, where I really started to lose his trust. Steve Robinson asked me to write a blog post about Trenny Kuznarek, which, if you don't remember that name, she was on Kirk and Callahan as like a regular, and became, I mean, not became, I guess she always was like super liberal. But if you remember, 2019, 2020, cancel culture stuff got really crazy. If I'm remembering this correctly, there was a story in the news about military members at, I think, the Army-Navy game putting up the OK symbol like that with their hand, where people called that racist for some reason. I don't remember the full context of how that became racist, but Trenny was on the front lines of calling that racist. Then people found a picture of her making the same symbol, which was very funny. So Steve Robinson asked me to write a blog for the website about it. I don't write blogs. The only one in my time there, in my time with Kirk, that got published was defending Shane Gillis. So I don't really write them, but it was in the same wheelhouse. I did write a couple as an intern, but they kind of sucked. So Dave's thought of me is not as a blogger, certainly. So K. Marco messaged me and was like, "You're not allowed to write blogs." And I blew up on the air that day on Kirk's show and was like, well, what the fuck? Why can't I do it? Because I guess Dave and Kirk had a conversation about it and said, Dave said, I don't want Mike going to battle for these type of issues. I don't want some feminist coming after us for something that Mike said. So here's where I say, like, well, so you're afraid of being called a sexist, but you also think I'm right. And that's where the argument picks up.
What are you talking about?
Oh, absolutely. It had something to do with you didn't want us to.
I don't care if it was a guy. I don't want Blind Mike leading a battle.
Okay, then he won't. Great. Okay, then he won't.
I said I agreed with what he wrote to you on the phone. I said I agreed with what he wrote.
Right, and then you said, I
so
don't
then how is it sexist?
Feminist is exactly what you said.
You set Mike up for failure.
Feminist.
Mike, where'd you get confused then, Blind Mike? You've heard me talk.
What do you mean? I'm just saying, if you agreed with it, why couldn't it get posted?
Because Mike, we have a long history. Whether the person's crazy or whatever, we get in battle. Shut up, Mike!
I get all that, but
Shut the fuck up! You get right or wrong. People write articles about it because you're the author. You've written one thing, Mike. You're a nothing here. I don't want you leading those very important battles with you. I don't fucking trust you. How hard is that to see that I don't want you leading Barstool into battles when you've been here for a fucking minute and I don't trust you?
So where I got confused was him saying, I agree with I read the blog and I agree with Mike. That's the thing I kept getting hung up on, where I'm like, it's fine that you don't trust me, but you know what I said. I can't sneak any more in there. You could just publish that what I already wrote. And then the trust factor goes out the window. Basically what he's saying there that I didn't understand at the time is like, I don't want you working here. He's basically saying, I wish you didn't work for this company. And that's what I never got. I was like, oh no, we'll hash it out. You hear him there where he's like, well, how did you misunderstand this, Blind Mike? And I go to explain, and he goes, shut the fuck up. I realize that now that there was never me convincing him, but I naively thought back then, I'm going to find the right ordering of words that will make him get my point. And I think just when Dave has that opinion of you that he doesn't like you or he doesn't trust you, I don't think there's any going back on that. I don't know what I could really do that would earn his trust back. So this is our last clip, right, Casey?
It is.
Yeah. So now I'll just explain this. So I leave Kirk's show as an employee, and I went into the blind program that I mentioned, and I fenced, and more importantly, did a bunch of other stuff there that helped me. And I came back. I think at this time, I still may have only been on once a week. Maybe it was twice a week at this point. I can't remember. But now I'm doing Kirk's show again and everything. And I haven't had an interaction with Dave at this point in a year and a half, probably, maybe more. So this is January of 2022. This episode is not on YouTube. I tried to find so that there would be a little more context, but the audio versions can be a pain in the ass to pull clips from. So I just went with this clip that the show tweeted out. But just for proper context, this is the first time I piped up and did that thing that I do where I say Barstool has changed. There was an argument in January of 2022 where Alex Bennett and I believe Jordan Woodruff, I believe both, I think that's where the name of the show Mean Girls came from, where Alex Bennett and Jordan Woodruff were calling this girl Danielle Bernstein. They were making fun of her for some reason. And Dave said, hey, Danielle Bernstein is my friend. I see her in the Hamptons. You guys aren't allowed to be mean to her. I think at this point you can judge whether or not that's hypocritical. I've pontificated about it enough. You can have your own thoughts on whether or not that's a crazy thing for a guy like Dave Portnoy to say. But I piped up about it on Twitter at the time and was like, this is crazy. Dave Portnoy, of all people, saying don't be mean. So we get into it. He calls into Kirk's show. He confronts Kirk first and then starts in with me. And this is where I guess a lot is built up over the previous 3 years or so, and you hear it kind of explode here in this clip. I defend you every time, Dave, and you know it. I know that you see me defend you when you're screaming the N-word and when you're choking broads. I defend you every fucking time, Dave, and you know it. You love me. You love me, Dave. You know that you love me. Shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up this time, Dave. You love me. I defend you every time it matters, and I take little shots when it's funny, but other than that, I've paid you a lot of fucking respect.
Maybe it's just you're not funny.
Yes, we know, Dave. I'm not. I know I'm not funny. I'm blind. Did you know that? I'm blind also, and I'm fat, and I'm stupid, and I'm worthless. Anything else? Anything else? I know, Dave, because you've been saying it for 7 years. I don't give a fuck. But it's bizarre to say, don't be mean. Are you fucking crazy? Don't be mean. Are you out of your mind? Dave Portnoy saying, don't be mean. You've lost it. You fucking snapped.
Well, somebody stopped this conversation.
Well, I'm not one of the great yellers. My voice gets to it. I'm not one of the great talkers either, but when this voice gets to that pitch, it's not a great combination. The only thing I'm embarrassed about by that clip is me saying, you love me. That's not my personality. I think I just sort of blacked out for a minute. But also, I think what I meant, if I can get in my own head for a second, is this is not that long after the Business Insider piece. So Julia Black reached out to me for that article that she wrote, the hit piece she wrote on Portnoy, where she basically called him a rapist. I think when she started the article, she was just casting a wide net and trying to figure out how she's going to slander this guy. So she messaged me, not kidding, 6 hours after Kirk was on the Dave Portnoy show at the time, and my name came up, and Dave, of course, said, I don't like Blind Mike. 6 hours later or so, Julia Black messages me and says, hey, Mike, just totally random. Just thinking of you. Wanted to talk to you about Barstool stuff. How was your time there? It was subtle, but I could tell what she was doing. And I messaged her and said, my time there was great. Dave gave me a great opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And then when she posted the article, I tweeted that message out and was like, where was my thing? I thought you wanted to make this a workplace abuse thing that I kind of debunked. Why did that change? Because you couldn't find anyone? So in moments like that, I did always defend Portnoy. And I remember in that argument, he was like, well, what are you supposed to do? Lie? And I was like, well, I thought that's what everyone else named in the article did, right? So that's why you hear me say, whether you're saying the N-word or choking broads or whatever I say, in those moments, I do defend him. But ultimately, I don't think he gives a shit. That's what I learned now. I was like, oh, well, he'll see one day that I defend him in those instances. I don't think he needs me to defend him, and I don't think he cares about it. I just don't think he likes that I represent a group of people that say Dave's changed. You hear him saying in that clip under my insane screaming. You hear him going, Dave's changed, Dave's changed. But there's also clips of Dave. I forget the context, but I know Cullinane has a clip where he's like, no doy, I sold out. No doy. Like Dave's acknowledged that he's changed. It's just when I say it, he doesn't like it. I don't think he likes the place that he believes it's coming from. But like, there's also shit I respect about Portnoy still to this day. Like the reason, I think the catalyst, this might sound crazy to say, but I think the catalyst for him owning Barstool again really was Mincy getting fired for rapping the N-word, a thing that happened to Dave also. And I think that bothered Dave, that they'd gotten to the point where Mincy got fired for something like that and he couldn't really control it or save him. And I think that's where he started to lose interest in the Penn National aspect of things. So there's still stuff like that that I respect Dave for. Ultimately, like, I think he thinks I've always hated him. He's kind of driven me into that, but I always respect and appreciate the opportunity that he gave me, obviously. So that's about it. I don't have anything more to say about it, but people have asked me because clips like this pop up on the Unnamed show. So people are like, why does he hate you so much? I've tried to explain it the best I can. Now I have a thing I can point you to. If you're ever curious why such a famous man hates such an insignificant person as me, now you have your answer. There's also a thing where it's like, I think back then I just had no confidence, and I think that reeked where Dave knew he could fucking like lay into me like that. I think that's part of it too, where, you know, I mentioned Mincy or Frank the Tank. I was hired as a freak show, like just a blind guy that Dave could make fun of, which I asked for. Again, don't get it misconstrued, Dave, when you hear this. I asked for that. I said, hey, bring me in as a whack packer, make fun of me, whatever. So I was hired the same way as Mincy or Frank or any of these other people that are there for Dave to make fun of. And some of those guys make careers on their own and become their own person. I think the difference with me was I was on a talk show that would talk about Barstool stuff, and I was shitting on Barstool. I thought because it was for a Barstool show, that was protected in a way where it's like, you know, there's no malice, but he just never saw it that way. And there's nothing I can do to change it at this point. So that is my perspective on things. I'm sure it will all be taken in good spirit. And I'm sure this will be the one that gets across to Dave. And he's like, oh, that's what he meant. That'll definitely happen. But more so, I look forward to the Unnamed show where Kirk is like, Davey's burying you again. You got to check this out. I will find that very funny. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But that's it. Let's now get into our regular programming here. You guys will be very happy. Casey and Electra are here. Hello, folks.
Heyo, we're here. Hold on, let me just get there. I am. Look at me, everyone. Oh,
Aren't you excited, guys?
Okay, so you fenced. What does that mean?
In the blind program that I was in, they have fencing as like a class you can take. I guess it's to help people with their blind people with their footwork and stuff. So it became. People would say I went to fencing school rather than what it really was. But yeah, I took a couple of fencing classes.
You could have given me
I can hear Electra is there's a fan or something happening. I can hear it. It's very loud.
Electra, get that fan. Oh, she's muted now.
It's muted now. Sorry, Electra.
Yes, that's okay. But all right, Mike. Well, that was fascinating. I didn't know a lot of that history. So a lot of people had questions in the chat.
I'll be curious to hear them.
Mainly, what is the logo on your hat?
This is the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Okay. That was mainly what chat was talking about.
I wear this every week. You never noticed?
Well, I mean, Trash Pandas is not like a household name, so.
I wear this fairly often. They should know by now.
Giving up on our boy Brendan, huh?
Oh, he's here. I'll be honest with my hat selection. I don't like to wear the thick boy hat on weeks we talk about Brendan Schaub because I worry people will misunderstand the message when we put it out as a clip.
That's a good point. I understand what you're doing there.
Yeah.
We have some super chats we could get to before we get into why Karl will go missing one day.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Are you, Electra, are you there?
Yeah, is the fan noise gone?
It's better. I think it's better.
Okay, cool.
Go. Just
Good.
burn in that.
And not that my comments mean a lot, but just for, sake, I found you first. And I don't even watch the other Barstool guy.
All right, thanks, Electra.
Needed to be said.
Yeah, really
Just
needed
had to say it. Anyway, SG Fanboy, $2. Dave Portnoy walks into a bar. Who? He owns it.
Stop it, Electra.
Oh, that's fun. I get it. He owns it.
Dominic, $1.99. The house that the goal built.
That's right.
That's right.
Tickle Me Tukey, $2. OJ didn't send me. I came here all by myself.
That's big. That's big. We finally found someone who wasn't sent by OJ. I appreciate that.
Sketty Tooth John, $9.99. I too came here all by myself.
Oh my God! Thank you guys. That's very kind of you.
Dominic, $4.99. Driving back to OK today by myself. Thanks for the drive entertainment.
That's what we're here for, baby.
A few more here.
And Tree Jones, $9.99. Last show was terrible. Looking forward to a better week. Love the honesty.
I like the bluntness. So they didn't mince words. I appreciate that. Yeah, I imagine not everyone, and it's a very different. The Patrick Melton episode was different than our usual stuff, but I was very curious about that stuff, and I think other people seem to be as well. Like the Red Bar stuff, I had no idea Patrick was friendly with Mike David before their beef started. So that alone was worth it to me because I was very interested in stuff like that and Dan Ninen and Steel Toe. So I enjoyed it. I think even Patrick was confused by it though, where he was like, "You just want to interview? Like you just want to ask me serious questions?" And I was like, "Yeah." I could tell he was a little thrown off by it, but I thought it was interesting.
All right, moving on. Here we go. Don Fried Chicken.
Dawn Fried Chicken, $4.99. Sorry Craig couldn't be here, Mike. He said something about finding a hot daycare. Not sure what that means.
I think he means it's summertime. So he's saying, like, it's going to be warm, but hopefully it'll be suitable for the kids. I assume that's what he means.
Exactly. And Adam, $1.99. Loud and proud Craigophile here.
Shout out. Thank you, buddy.
Us too.
Who isn't?
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dominic, $4.99. Mike, I never watched you before WATS. This shit is weird to hear. Ever think you'll do a Why Are You Laughing on yourself?
That's kind of how I tried to treat that a little bit. No, I won't.
Come on.
Well, I luckily, like I said, the Minifan Show account preserved some of those clips, which made it easy. The difficult thing would have been going back through a bunch of clips of like my own show. Like I could never do. I just can't listen to my own voice. If I know where certain clips are, it's easier. But I couldn't go through archives of like this show or something.
This is my favorite super chat of the day.
Dominic, $1.99. Is Blind Mike the HACKRIDE of Kirk?
I guess so in a way. Or I was at that time. I guess so in a way. Although I wasn't a producer, so it's a little different. But yeah.
Yeah, now you're the Casey Day of Kirk. You evolved.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, that's a real feather in my cap.
Jimmy's Neglected Mother, $5. Missed you last week. Glad I can continue my deeply troubling parasocial relationship with you this week.
I was here. There was a show.
They need you live.
All right.
And the Blackcast, $4.99. Thank you for that, Mike. A lot of us needed it spelled out, and even more of us are Team Blind Mike. I only wish you weren't so much better than me.
Well, thank you.
Facts.
That's uncomfortable, but thank you, Christian.
Better than all of us. It's annoying.
Yeah. And Hamilton Burger, $2. Wait, the blind fella isn't Tukey?
No, I know we're just as equally talented as one another, but no.
Similar voices. I could hear how you could hear
Really?
that. Yeah, you know.
Oh, I don't hear that.
You're both voice people. You do great.
I'm not as good as him, but
You're up there. All right, that's thank you so much, Super Chatters, for all.
yeah, thank you, folks, for that. And now we'll get into a more regular show. That was a little more Why You Laughing style. This is going to be a little more Blind Mike Project style, because in the spirit of letting the people I love and respect know that I love it. Enough of this sarcastic asshole stuff. I've heard Kirk. I'm too used to saying that now. I've heard Karl say that I take shots at him. He's another one of these guys like Portnoy. I think if you hear him talk about the Jews, there's big differences. But he's much like Portnoy, where he's always like, Blind Mike is always taking shots at me. And I'm here to disprove that once and for all, because there's no shots I'm going to be taking at Karl in this segment. If I have one criticism of my buddy Karl, it's that he needs to start valuing his time, because this is the craziest thing I may have ever... Like, this is uncomfortable to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard the name Skinny Chad Zumock before on Karl's show. And I think he does I think he dressed up as me once, this guy, at a live show, right?
I do believe that happened.
Skinny blind Mike or something?
Yes. I think you're skinny. I think you're a svelte man.
Hey, well, thanks. People won't when they see me January 21st at Boston City Winery. But just to know that this guy knows who I am is a little frightening. Like,
Facts.
I'm actually nervous to do this segment because Karl said this guy's going to be there next week. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I don't want him to, like... it's all jokes, man. I come in peace. Mm-hmm. Don't have my name on a list. I'm sorry, but this needs to be called out because this was fucking weird. So I guess this guy, Skinny Chad Zumock, sent Karl hamburger pants in the mail.
As one does.
And wanted him to put them on and take a picture with them. And that's where we begin. Mm-hmm. Let's get into it, I guess.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Conspiracy Theory. We're just going to hit the ground running, no intro this time because we got time to fill. I have with me the man of the hour, or at least the man of my hour. He goes by many names: Chompers, Lady K, the man with clubbed feet, he who walks in hamburger pants, Burger Goblin Karl. Okay, maybe not the last one.
I'm always calling him that on WATS. To the point where people are like, enough already, Mike. The Burger Goblin Karl nickname has been done to death. We all call him that.
Is this terrifying or is it just me?
It's terrifying. I think I'm worried like we might be going too far. This might be a guy we're mocking who maybe has some real issues.
You've asked before, Mike, but could you ask me again why Electra and I are cartoons? I think I got a new answer.
Finally, I get it. Make me a cartoon.
If my plans hadn't been thwarted, that would have been the case. How are you doing, Karl?
I'm doing well, Skinny Chad. Thanks for having me. I don't think people call me any of those names, but it's interesting that
Not to your face.
Ah, I see. Fair enough.
Not to your face. It was my goal to eventually get into like the side of like to get on Chad's show and maybe KB's show one of these days and put in the little mind bug and get Burger Goblin Karl into the lexicon.
Okay.
One day where they're like saying like
people aren't picking up on that.
Yeah, well, I kind of had to like get on those shows first, but it's like I've been like trying to crawl up the community ladder for like, I don't know, so many years. It's since I started the Skinny Chad persona.
You guys remember what a journey it's been.
I feel like I'm tied down in Dexter's kill room, and I'm just listening to a speech before I get the knife.
I'll use Dexter as the example. What's the guy's name? Michael C. Hall? Is that the actor's name?
Yeah.
It would be douchey if you heard Michael C. Hall go, well, ever since I took on the Dexter persona. That's an iconic television character, and that would be douchey. To watch this man go, ever since... boy, thinking about what a long, strange road it's been since I took on Skinny Chad. I don't know where the man ends and Skinny Chad begins. Who am I anymore? It's been such a whirlwind. I don't know. I don't know where life begins and the Dabbleverse ends. It's just to hear him wax poetic about the saga of Skinny Chad is very frustrating. And I got to give Karl credit here. Because I was critical of him when he was talking to the Aussie guy. My one main criticism was I didn't get that it was a joke because Karl never pulled the ripcord. I was like, you just like pretended you were totally in on it and got what he was doing. So he's a good salesman. Like he'll try and beef something up even if there's nothing there. He gives that guy none of this. No. He's like, okay, hang yourself, I guess. I'm not going to help you out of this, whatever this bit is.
He's a doctor checking in on his psychiatric patient. All right. So
okay,
so that didn't work out for you. Okay.
Okay. So you're still asking about the Burger Goblin. Okay.
Yeah. Is the Burger Goblin in the room?
Yeah, as you see, I got my hat on the side here. I figured I'd take the hat off and just no goofy stuff today. It's just
Straight
serious,
talk. Just
all right,
yeah, the serious conversation we're having.
It's like the mask, that hat, the captain's hat.
Okay, good. It's a serious conversation Skinny Chad is having with the Burger Goblin. Good. I'm glad we could sit down and cut the fat here, cut the bullshit, and get down to the serious business.
Serious conversation. Now let's talk about your pants.
All right, so the pants you sent me in the mail.
This next one's called Creep. I think we know why.
No. This could be very nuanced, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, here's where he covers a Radiohead song.
Like webtoons, like I did with my pull-up comic, The Triumph of Eric July.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Are you a big Eric July fan?
Huh?
Well, so this is the feel of like if Karl's brother was like in a home and Karl's going to visit him, you know?
It's a family obligation. Yes.
So yeah. So you're reading the comic book. How you liking those? Like he's just looking for anything around the room he can attach himself to and have a conversation about.
How's the food in here? Jello.
July fan?
No, but I'm trying to convince people that I am.
Got it. So your whole persona is the opposite of how you really feel about things.
Yeah. Because I guess what's happened lately is I guess I don't know if I'm either playing the character too well or something of that nature. But
I'm more beast than man now.
Daniel Day-Lewis had the same complaint on My Left Foot. Just I'm too into the role now.
He's Abraham Lincoln. This guy.
Yes. His wife's divorcing him. He won't stop playing Lincoln.
Yes. Andrew Silverstein is no more. He's the Dice Man.
I guess it comes off like I might have had. Are you like genuinely offended by anything that I've said or done?
Am I? No.
Just for clarification, what this man has done is sent Karl mail and messages and demanding that Karl takes a picture wearing the pants he sent them. No, so I hope Karl's lying a little here when he says, I wasn't offended by any of it. He should take mild offense, but it's probably smart not to let this guy know.
Electra, can you search for that picture of Karl in those pants? It's out there somewhere.
Did he actually take it? I didn't know.
He took a picture in the pants to satisfy.
This poor sap.
Yeah. I mean, you got this guy. All right, don't murder me. Here's the picture.
That's frightening. That tells you how deep this. I didn't know Karl took the picture.
It's out there. Yeah,
that's like Cape Fear level stuff.
Laughing at a drama movie in the theater while everyone's crying. Yes.
Okay, the pants are on. Am I safe now?
Am I crossed off your list?
Can I get my wife back?
But on your show, you said that I'm a creep, though.
Well, you do creepy things.
Like what?
Good for Karl.
Yes.
Well, like sending me pants in the mail and then telling me to take a photo wearing them for you. That's
he actually doesn't need to do that much explaining. It's pretty on the surface.
Go back any 5 seconds in this interview and just listen. That's what we're talking about.
The only person who's ever done that to me.
Yeah, that is pretty weird. But it was pretty funny for a while. I mean,
but I'm not offended. It takes a lot to offend me. Words.
I did it as a goof. I thought it would be funny.
Sure.
And listen. When I was tapping on your window, giving the throat slash sign, like that was good natured. I just want to be. I was never gonna do anything. I wasn't gonna come inside.
No. As I was dipping my penis in everything that you drink in your refrigerator, I'm just
no. When Jenny Jingles went to take a shower and I was in the shower, that was a goof. I was messing with you guys.
Listen, I handed her the loofah. She seemed fine with it.
I guess the whole crux of the hamburger pants saga, as I like to call it, is that I guess I hassle you to put them on.
You know what's sad as I was listening to this? I think this is how Dave Portnoy thinks of me. He's like, this guy. He's in my vents. He's.
Please send Dave Portnoy a pair of pants. Please do.
Took a lot longer than I thought it would.
Yeah,
because And I guess in that I got like actually frustrated. But
So you
whenever
were
I would
angry
do,
You were actually angry with me, right?
I'm safe. Right?
Frustrated
Yeah.
isn't.
It's such a crazy clip that I'm going to gloss over the fact that he says frustrated, but
Oh yeah.
it does add to the case here.
Yeah, that'll be on the bottom of the list of charges.
Yes, yeah.
Angry.
Okay. How are you feeling now? Are we on good terms?
We'll see.
This is Karl slowly stepping backwards out of the room.
Yes.
Everything cool, man?
Karl's like,
no sudden movements.
Mm-hmm. It's like, God damn, I wish I was a cartoon.
The thing is that
You're a tough
I would
cookie,
always
Skinny Chad.
try to
Jeez.
wrap everything in a joke.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
no.
the thing.
He is like me. It's all so clear to me now. Dave, I'm sorry.
It's gonna be like, Karl, I just came from fencing school.
I've learned a lot.
I've learned.
I was in therapy 3 times a week. It worked wonders.
Mm-hmm.
Everything to be funny.
Sure.
I needed it to be hilarious. I remember whenever I would send a super chat, demanding, put on those hamburger pants, Karl, I'd always wrap it up in a joke. I think.
Listen, I know when I was saying put on the hamburger pants, that was pretty heavy. But I would try and lighten the mood a little from such serious stuff as the hamburger pants I was demanding you put on.
And why Burger Goblin or whatever? Hamburger Pants is sitting right there. Hamburger Pants Karl. It's right there.
I gotta say, I didn't realize Karl took a picture with the pants. That's in a, like, have you ever seen the documentary Dear Zachary?
I have not.
Tremendously sad documentary. Go watch it. I should have said it was a comedy to lead people there. But there's a specific moment, I won't spoil it, but there's a specific moment in that documentary that like really gets me. It's when the victim's father is talking and gets very choked up. And that's the real tearjerker, I think, for a lot of people. In this documentary, I think it would be when they show Karl in the hamburger pants. And you're like, oh God, he put them on. That's the madness he was driven to. Like that's when people really get choked up when they see Karl in those pants, where they're like, what did this guy do to him?
It's almost like it becomes the thing where like, well, did she dress sexy? Was she asking for it? Because you know what I'm saying? You put the pants on, Karl, you're sort of surrendering.
Well, there'd be people like me that are like, Karl was asking for it, but in 10 years that won't age well. People will be like, well, they're blaming the victim,
I think one time I did like the $50 super chat where I asked Blind Mike to look under the table. It was
don't forget. I'm sorry. Honey, we're moving towns.
New house. I know we just
leave the house there. We're moving to Alaska.
The socials.
I want him to know my name.
Well, I mean, it's a nickname. Hopefully, he has not looked any further.
Karl, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was complicit in this. I didn't realize I participated in one of these bits.
And I'm just realizing putting all these gears behind us might have killed you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. You gave away my last name.
God damn it.
Said Blind Mike, look under the table and see if Karl's wearing those hamburger pants. And he looked under the table.
Burn everything. But take the Patreon down. Shred it all.
It was a Watergate moment. Burn everything.
Yeah, I think stuff like that is funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you got some mileage out of that. Maybe it's a good thing then that I didn't immediately take a photo with them because it gave you something to communicate with us about.
It is good.
Yeah, that's sort of like what the point.
And you know what, Karl? History is going to see it that way, I think.
We'll write it on your grave, on your gravestone.
Is that it was sort of my own little like thing to interact with the show type of thing, and
I will say we're having a good time with Skinny Chad here and making fun of him. That's where I felt a little bad because like, and part of the thing with like the Portnoy, like when you start getting like comments or feedback like Portnoy was giving me, like it's jarring. You're like, what the fuck? Like I didn't even know it was possible for someone to hate me that much. So when you start getting like feedback online, you have a vision of these people that like send you stuff where you almost picture them as like intimidating. And then you hear a guy like Skinny Chad and you're like, oh, he's just trying to be like part of the gang. You know what I mean? Like you read a lot of comments, whether they're nasty or creepy or weird or whatever, you read them with a certain tone in your head where you might be like, fuck this person or, whatever. But then when you hear a guy like Skinny Chad talk, you're like, ah, shit, he just wants to be part of something. That is where I felt a little bad for him in that moment where he's like, I just wanted to send you guys stuff so you'd interact with me,
Yeah. Mike, I've had this sample on my soundboard here for 2 years, and I've never used it. I think I finally got a reason to use it.
Yeah. Now, that was a nice thing I said about Skinny Chad. Also, he's an adult man that sent someone hamburger pants in the mail. So I think it's possible to think both things,
It is. This one's called Dabble Court.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's an insight into Skinny Chad's psyche here.
Yeah, I have a whole list of stuff. So, let me see if I cover everything. Oh, yeah. Also, you know how you tell people, just do it? Like, if you're going to sue me, just do it.
That is his catchphrase. I'll defend him there.
Mm-hmm. He took it straight from my alma mater, Oregon.
Okay.
Just do it.
Well, I actually filed charges against you in Dabble Court.
Okay.
And I contacted Lucy Type.
Carl's having none of this. He's not. If someone said that on WATP, you'd get the big Karl laugh. He'd play along. Wow, what does that mean? He's like, okay. What mania is this going to be? What scorpion is under this rock?
Skinny Chad, where yes and goes to die.
Represent me.
Okay.
And so that way, if I think I sent you a copy of the charges, and it was going to be like extortion for taking so long on putting on the hamburger pants.
Well, you live in an interesting fantasy world, don't you?
Yeah.
Good for Karl.
I think Karl's editing. He's like, okay, I'm going to do something else.
Oh, is he working while this is going on?
He's decided to do something valuable with his time.
Okay.
I'm trying to. Came in back in December. It looks like.
Try to make it as interesting as possible.
Rule over this.
Yeah. But I think I'll drop a couple of the charges.
Okay.
Although there is a new charge that I think I should bring up, which is
that's the kind of laugh you throw out that Karl just gave. That's the kind of laugh you throw out to be like, we're kidding, right? Like, we're joking around here, right? This is all a bit that we're doing. We're all in on it, right?
He did not get the return laugh that would have signified, yes, we are.
And he's like, now, as you'll see here in Article 43.
Yes. I'm going to drop charges.
Lately, I've noticed you've been showcasing your twig feet, your twigs. You have very thin legs.
Showcasing them?
He does do that. He does showcase those gams. I tell him to stop. And he always tells me, Mike, we're not going to get as many super chats from the girls if I don't. He's oiling them up. He's always showcasing those gams.
What does this guy see? I want to look through his eyes for like 10 seconds and then jab them out forever.
But that's what I mean, where it's like when you start getting stuff like that on Twitter and you've never gotten it before, you read it in a tone where it's like, oh shit, do I showcase my legs? You know what I mean? You're like, why would a person just say that if it's totally untrue? And then you hear the guy saying it and you're like, oh, okay. We're playing a different ball game here.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in Vegas and I wore shorts. I think everyone does. It's 100 degrees.
And everyone commented on them.
I'm supposed to be able to help that? I can't help that.
Note on Saturday, wear pants. The WATP live show. Good, I know that now.
Yeah. And what are your concealed carry laws like over there in New York City?
Oh, these libs.
Oh,
I need Craig with us.
All right. Bring a hammer.
What I understand is that infringes on my artistic representation of Burger Goblin Karl with the twig feet. So you're in violation of my artistic representation.
I see.
That's another charge.
There's a picture now on screen that he is putting up on screen of Karl's legs, and he's just wearing shorts, and he's focusing, and he circled the legs.
Oh.
He wants us to focus on the
See,
legs.
this is where my eyes get me in trouble. I thought this was a creepy segment. I didn't realize he had photos of Karl's legs on the screen. Now I see. Now I get it. It's all so clear to me now.
Yeah, this is clearly evidence. Exhibit A. will be used in the trial against
I should
Electra,
take you to court.
Call Craig. Tell him to head for Canada. Bring all the Patreon information. We're crossing the border.
Listen, gearheads, I am thousands of miles away. I'm going to need you to come out in force at this Boston thing to protect our boy Mike here. This guy is there. You got to protect
WATPlive.com. I haven't said it until I realized I needed protection.
This cannot be a two-man enter, one-man leave situation. Gearheads, show up and protect our boy.
Court for that.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to get too far with that, considering which came first.
Yeah.
I didn't transform my life after your comic came out. So you might want to just rethink that one.
Okay.
Don't stop the delusion, Karl. Don't stop it.
He doesn't. I kind of want to defend Skinny Chad and be like, he's just fucking around. But he doesn't defend himself. It's hard to defend him when he's not standing up for himself here.
No.
He's just creepily going, okay, well, I guess you're not going to take my lawsuit seriously, so I don't know. I guess I'll just have to file a motion to strike.
On to the next point. Why does your butt look like that?
Yeah, Karl, why do you do that weird thing when you sleep?
Do you know you breathe mostly through your mouth when you sleep? No.
You can exercise some mercy.
It's the mother of all sighs from Karl.
So, aside from that, I guess I just want to make sure that we're good.
All right, now I'm going to pull up on the screen the live feed I have to your bathroom. Also, I want to make sure we're que pasa, like we're good to go here, right? We're compadres.
Can I wear your skin? All right, next one's called Relationship.
Oh, well, I imagine, based on the title, I can't say I exactly remember what this is, but unfortunately I have a feeling I know where it's going.
Bros for life.
That would have been 2018, 27, maybe 2017.
Okay, so I've been a listener since then.
Cool.
Okay, and then I've been like following the show and doing all that stuff. And
that's awesome, man. You go way back.
Hey, really appreciate everything you do. Just want to make sure you're hearing me say that. Really appreciate you, man. You're the tops, brother. We're friends, okay?
I am fearful for this event now. I'm not liking it.
Genuinely, I'm like kind of kidding, but also kind of like, hey, Karl, like if I didn't go, what would you say about that?
Gregors, give a call down to the venue. Just check security. See what it's like.
Yeah, I know. So you can understand how I felt when I felt like I got thrown out of the bus, type of thing. You would understand. I'd be a little bit like peeved about that.
I'm a fan of lots of things. I don't expect anyone who's a part of that to talk to me or react to me. I've told you I'm a huge Ween fan. My favorite band.
Well, hey, quit bragging, pal. Quit listing your resume, Buster. Don't make me make fun of you now, Karl.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's not the craziest person on the screen. Skinny Chad.
So you guys are probably annoyed at me now. You're thinking, Mike, you clipped out a bunch of context. Skinny Chad said he was thrown under the bus. What are they talking about? They're still talking about Karl not putting on the pants he was mailed and taking a photograph of them. That's where Skinny Chad was thrown under the bus because Karl didn't wear the garment he was mailed like a good little girl and take the photo.
And why were they so wet in the crotch area?
Never you mind. Don't worry about it.
And I got an opportunity to open for the lead singer, Aaron Freeman, at this venue. My band got to open for him. It was very exciting. And they said, Karl, Aaron's right back there in the green room if you want to go talk to him. And I went, nope. He doesn't owe me anything. I've enjoyed his music. He's given me things that I've enjoyed. And I have no reason to talk to him. He unless he comes to me and goes, Karl, I'm a huge WATP fan. I don't have any desire to reach out to him and have a relationship with him.
No. The band Ween stops what they're doing.
So you don't have to have a relationship with people just because you appreciate their work or enjoy their art.
All right.
process.
I guess there's some underlining message that you're trying to beat into my head.
Oh, no.
Carl, I've never heard a man be more specific and direct. He's like, listen, I don't have an expectation that people I'm a fan of would have some deep, meaningful interaction with me. And he's like, I don't know, man. It seems like you're trying to get something across to me. What? Well, now you listen here, Lady K. I'm pretty perceptive. And it seems like you've got something you're trying to tell me. True or false?
Carl's doing Spaceballs, and he's hearing Stanley Kubrick. He's like, wait, this means something.
It's not underlying. It's specifically don't feel that I owe you something because you've liked my show for a long time. I appreciate that. I appreciate you supporting, and that's why I'm here with you now and wanted to give you some time. But just because you're a fan of something doesn't mean that the thing you're a fan of owes you something back.
Hey, dickhead, just put on the pants, all right? You diva. Now I'm getting annoyed at him. Don't talk to Skinny Chad like that.
This is how the doctor finishes the visit. You got to do the right things. Take your meds.
This is the end of Shutter Island.
Yes,
Like,
it is.
Teddy Daniels never existed, or whatever the fuck the guy's name is.
In many ways, it's exactly the same.
That would be a crazy world. That'd be a tough nut to crack. If I had to do a 1 hour interview with every person who listens to WATP, I would not be able to accomplish that.
Yeah. Well, it's not.
I don't know. I'm going to keep trying to sift through this mishmash of words, this word salad you gave me, and I try to figure out what you say. Speak English, Karl, will you?
It's like deciphering a Twin Peaks episode.
What does he mean? So he's telling me I'm being a bit of a creep. What do you think he means by that? Huh.
He's breaking this down like we break down G.D. Fenderson. Like, hold on, let me pause the tape. Let me think about what you said.
We don't say that name here anymore. Fuck G.D. Fenderson.
Yeah, the dog was in chat earlier. I gave him a what for.
I like the dog. The dog's all right.
Yeah, but he needs to get on GD. He needs to.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like no matter what I'm saying, I'm going to come off sounding crazy. So
No, you're not.
That's the funniest thing he said.
I forgot. I went to thank God I didn't take a sip of water there.
I don't know. Listen, and I don't think you're crazy. I'm just letting you know how I.
Also, we know Carl's a liar now too. Great pants.
Yeah, he was being yeah, you got to give him. He was being pretty direct for most of this, and he's also fearful for his life. He doesn't want.
That's true.
Inspire this guy to be a fucking Mark David Chapman or something.
Don't think he needs much inspiring, man. He just needs theme music at this point. He just needs a little motivation.
Think about entertainment and the people that I admire who I'm a fan of.
okay, because it's just like the whole, I guess reaching out and stuff, and I do kind of feel like I was thrown under the bus in a sort of way.
I agree. You know what? He's turning me around. Karl, just put the fucking pants on, you diva.
Again,
you big baby.
With the segment.
Sorry you feel that way, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm surprised by from Karl? He never blurted. He has more control than I do. He didn't go, I put the fucking pants on.
I know. There's a picture on your Twitter, you asshole.
I did what you asked me to do.
It's your profile picture.
That's a lesson to Karl. This is why you don't negotiate with terrorists. It's never enough.
No. We learned in the Olympics in '76. No, you don't negotiate. Getting mocked here is the last one.
Okay, well, I hope that's not happening.
Be careful with mocking this man.
Okay, so what did I do to throw you under the bus?
Well, it's like the sort of I felt it was like the segment and stuff like that, and calling it the worst interview.
Oh, so he's referring, just for clarity, for anyone that didn't watch it. Karl and Adam Bush broke down this segment on WATP. So they talked about it, and I'm sorry, they broke down the segment with Adam Bush on it, right? That's what he's referring to?
Yes.
Obviously, he couldn't be talking about this interview. That's not how time works.
Well, you never know with this guy. You never know.
So it was the Adam Bush segment that they broke down, and he's like, "Hey, you guys were making fun of me on that show. That's pretty weird. I listen to this show every week. How come now you took a podcast and made fun of it?" And Karl has to answer him here.
Like the whole.
So this is just about Adam bringing that segment to the show. Now, if that wasn't okay, let me ask you this. I don't know if you can even do this exercise, but if that was a different listener
holy shit, he is doing a GD Fenderson thing. He's putting up clips of stuff, like post-edit, or I think it might be live, but it's like a little man dressed in a captain hat, and he's like, "Oh, Karl, grr." So he's playing.
Interesting.
3-dimensional chess here on
Okay.
2-dimensional chess, I guess.
Or let's say that was Rob Saul's show or someone else's show. Would you have enjoyed that segment?
Yeah, probably would have. But then I guess that's sort of the difference is that, when it happens to you eventually.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, that's honest.
There you go, buddy. You're getting there. He's like,
Right.
yeah, I like it when you make fun of other people, but when you did it to me, like, I don't know, it hurt my feelings. Why did you do that to me, Karl? Why did you hurt my feelings? I like it when you hurt other people's feelings. I didn't like it when you did it to me. He's like learning something about life right now, where he's like, oh, maybe I should treat others the way I want to be treated. Oh my God.
It is. We are here for the light bulb actually dimming on a little bit.
Precisely.
I guess so. Yeah.
He guesses. So he's not really.
I guess. You know what? Agree to disagree.
My God. Man.
It's very funny to hear, and that's what I tried. It takes a learning curve. Like, I had to get used to that too, where it's like, when you hear people make fun of you, you're like, oh, this feels different than when I was making fun of other people. So it's nice at whatever Skinny Chad's age is that he learned that lesson. I think that is valuable. And Skinny Chad, we're fucking around. We thought Karl really fucking he threw, to use your words, he threw you right under the bus. Like, just to be clear, when you see me in Boston, totally on your side. Like, this guy Karl's he's an instigator. He's the problem. So just keep that in mind.
And Karl, legs day. Come on.
Yeah. Karl better hope he's not showing off those cams.
Yeah. And if you need any help putting anybody in the trunk, you come to us. We'll help you out, big guy.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, totally. Like, we're brothers. So as long as it's not me, right, buddy?
100%. Electra got some super chats here.
All right. Hamilton Burger. It puts on the hamburger pants or it gets the hose.
Yes. No lotion in Skinny Chad's house.
It's just me and Trucker Andy waiting for the show to start. I'm like, where's Karl?
My mouth is really dry. N-word F-slur.
That's a great name.
That was a great assortment of words right there.
Karl should...
My mouth's dry. N-word F-slur. It is.
Karl should know the ramifications of showcasing those turnip legs.
If he's going to turn everyone on, he should be ready for the backlash.
Mm-hmm. Give us a warning for that sexiness.
Yeah. Shades Cal, $2. BM, when did you give OJ permission to show his face?
Why is he doing that?
Oh, no. Is it Sweeps Week? That was my idea.
I saw him on his
Sweeps Week. Well, good for OJ.
Mm-hmm. And final one here.
Troy Smith, Dabbleverse artists are real creeps.
Mm-hmm.
Tends to be the case.
Yeah, we're all creeps in our own way, so just remember that, Skinny Chad. I'm no better than you, Mm-hmm. In fact, you're much better than me. Just keep that in mind, brother.
Do you want to, I think it might be fun, but it's up to you. Do you want to see his cameo?
Oh, I forgot you had this. Damn it.
Do you want to see it? I mean, you can check out whenever you want.
Yeah. We'll take a look, but check out whenever. Yeah.
All right, so here's your plug, Chad, because we love you.
He's on Cameo. That's very cool. Go to Skinny Chad's Cameo.
Because he needs Cameo. I mean, this is a star.
It's just, when he took on the Skinny Chad persona, things just changed so much.
Oh, wait, I get it. He does kind of look like Chad.
I might actually pay for some cameos.
Hold on a second. That was the part you struggled with, Electra?
Yes.
I think he looks more like Joey C, but like shaven. But no, I think hey, listen, Chad, I'm going to send some money. You're going to do some cameos, some plugs for the Blind Mike Show. We're going to play those. That way we're all a family. You don't murder your family, right?
Yeah, that's what I want. Probably, yeah. Sure, yes.
I'll pay for it, don't worry.
Hey, this
is what you get, Mike.
Your pal. I'm not your pal. Stop.
All right. So why did you make me listen to this?
This is a freaking horror movie. What is this?
I got to tell you something, though. I'm not going to shit on him for that. He's doing a character. I'll give him credit for that. He's doing something. He's doing Stuttery John or something.
He's a Stut Joe. Yeah.
I can't in good conscience listen to that again.
Will you give me 5 more seconds of it?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
No, this is
That's all I needed.
All right,
That's all I needed.
All right. Listen, go look at my cameo. It's no better than that. It's just as embarrassing. So,
all right, Mike. Where would you like to go next? I got to get that face off the screen. It is horrifying.
Jesus. So we have Brendan Schaub and the Golden Hour to talk about. I think we should start with Brendan Schaub and then see what the Golden Hour is up to. This will be 2 different segments, but we'll talk about Brendan Schaub first and just see what he's up to. Because he was on, damn, I'm forgetting the name of the channel now. It's like Autotopia or something?
Exactly.
Autotopia LA, I think. Brendan was on this channel, and they really do like a deep dive into his career, much like I did with Patrick Melton last week. They have a serious talk about Brendan, about his career. And I thought some of the stuff that he got into was interesting. And it's amazing, after all these years, like Brendan hasn't learned. Like the first segment today when I was talking about Portnoy, I think that was a growth. You've seen where I know what I did wrong and what I don't think I did wrong. Like I think there's real growth there. I don't know if Brendan Schaub has had that moment with the reason some people aren't a big fan of his, but let's hear from the man himself.
Brendan has a pretty extensive background, actually. I mean, it was fun when we shot with you recently, learning about from football to UFC to comedy to podcasting.
You do it all.
Kind of like I always look for inspiration from guys like you, you know. So kind of walk us. Why don't you walk us through?
This is how we found Coach HP, by the way. I love when Brendan is on a show with just like a real ball washer, because there's no pushback. There are no questions about, you know, the homeless cats or throwing Dalia under the bus or Annie Letterman or any of this stuff. It's pure like, Brendan, tell us how great you are. And Brendan, with no irony, always runs with it. He's always like, all right, well, if you insist, here's how the journey began.
Kind of the arc of your life, I guess, in a certain respect. Is that too much to throw?
I feel like the movie's not done. Hopefully it's not.
No.
I thought, damn it, Brendan, damn it. Like we were talking about with Patrick, we had Patrick Melton on last week, and I started asking him serious questions about his career, and he was kind of like, why would anyone want to talk to me seriously? Brendan has the opposite approach, where he's like, man, I'll give it to you, but there ain't no ending yet, because things are still about to get nuts. It's like, just tell me how you got into UFC, dickbag. Don't waxing poetic.
Coming up. But I guess it started, I mean, as a kid, grew up in Denver, Colorado, and athletics was my path to, I guess, stardom. You know, as a young kid, I just had...
Listen, Brendan has had, say what you want about him, he's had a career. He's way more successful than I am. Like, Brendan has had a career. And I guess if I used or if one of these interviewers, if they said, what was your path to stardom? We might scoff at that, but it wouldn't be that ridiculous. For Brendan to go like, well, here was my journey to stardom. It shows that what I wanted from this guy was never going to happen. I always thought there was a real path to Brendan learning how to be a punching bag on a show. I think maybe that gene is just in you or it isn't. Because Brendan has even after all these years, after he's been Gringo Poppy has been mocked mercilessly by everyone in comedy. And there's no instinct for Brendan to be like, oh, well, I mean, stardom is a little... Like, there's no humility. There's no sense to laugh at something like that. He just straight up says, like, here's my path to stardom.
I think it's when you can physically beat people to a pulp. It's hard to accept that they're better than you at other things. You know?
Well, it's why athletes could really never. It's very rare that an athlete can be a comedian. Like people said, like Blake Griffin was like okay at stand up when he tried it.
He's pretty funny, yeah.
Yeah, like so maybe that's like a rare exception, but I think for athletes to be as successful as they are, they need the mentality that Brendan has. You kind of have to be self-absorbed and think you're the greatest. Otherwise, you would just give up at some point. Like you need to be able to forge through some of those like big losses and the beatings your body takes and all of that. But he doesn't have a comedian's genetics. He doesn't have that self-deprecating thing. He was born like an athlete, and it's why he's never really been able to take a joke on a podcast.
I guess you could say Rogan is sort of the only one that kind of, if you drew a Venn diagram, kind of is in the middle there, where he's kind of funny and he's definitely an athlete, you know?
Yeah, but he's not a pro. Rogan was never a pro athlete. You can be athletic, but Rogan wasn't a competitor. And you could also say Rogan doesn't get jokes if you look at his show. You know what I mean?
I didn't say he's the closest. I didn't say it was like that.
Sure.
But
to use the opposite, it's probably why Shane Gillis didn't succeed in Division I football. You know what I mean? Like Shane has a comedian's mentality, so his football career didn't work out, and Brendan has an athlete's mentality, so his comedy career didn't work out.
100%.
Did Shane try playing football?
He was Division I for West Point.
Oh.
We'll do that another day, Electra.
Okay. It's kind of like Division III.
We'll walk you through that another day.
Alrighty.
I mean, calling West Point Division I is sort of, calling.
Well, it is. In some respect.
Well, they pay for that.
All right, let's get back to Brendan.
They're no Oregon, is all I'm saying.
Now, 9 years and younger, I coach them now, and they either have it or they don't. And then some parents are like, no, they can work. I get that. But as far as that tenacity and heart, you can't.
You can see it at that age.
I can see it. And my kiddos have it, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God, or I would have disowned them.
Yes.
I don't like when Brendan will talk about his kids, and I'll see channels like Podcast Cringe, who I like, and channels like that. They'll shit on Brendan's parenting, and it's like we don't know how he is as a parent. But when he says shit like that, it is like, oh Jesus! Well, so they weren't athletes. He's like, thank God they're athletes, because otherwise, like, I wouldn't know what to do with these little fuckers.
Facts. Your kids need to be athletes, so just toss them
Disown them.
Yeah. Chinese had it right.
Do the extra work to be stars or to be good at something.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I was just born with that. Like you would have to kill me to beat me. You literally have to kill me.
Yeah.
Well, he lost, and he's still alive. So I don't know if literally applies there, but
darn. Next one's called Never Easy.
Well, it really wasn't. A lot of people think Brendan, just had a path to success, and he's going to explain why that isn't true. And he uses a strange route of logic here.
That's how kids are. And I was just a savage as a young kid in sports, and it's my way to kind of make a name for myself. So it started. People
shit on him for talking like that. He was. You know what I mean? Like, he was probably so much better than everyone in his class at an early age. Like, that shit I don't mind. To be like, I was just a savage at a young age, it's just not how comedians talk. No. And that's why Brendan never got why he fit into that world. Or didn't fit into
Right.
Football was the dream. Took it all the way to University of Colorado, which is a dream as a kid.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was a walk-on there. So, I guess where I should start is like nothing was ever easy. Like people might look down like, oh, it's easy, man. Rogan helped them, or this guy helped them.
Yeah.
No, man. So my junior year, I was getting recruited pretty heavily. I thought I would go to like Cal or Texas A&M.
So he goes. A lot of people think Rogan helped me, but I played football. It's like, yeah, that's not what they think he helped you with, Brendan.
Tied my shoes before the games.
Here's where, again, Brendan would win a lot of points. If he said, like, my path into comedy was a lot easier. Because of Joe Rogan, I had an instant audience. And he could talk about how that both helps and hurts him. Like, immediately he got a Showtime special and was able to, go on tour and sell tickets and all this stuff because of Joe Rogan. But it's also to his detriment, because he was never able to grow and develop as a comedian. He never did open mics. He started at the Comedy Store. So it was actually a hindrance to have Rogan. But Brendan doesn't intellectualize that. He just goes like, hey, Rogan didn't help me because he wasn't there when I went to Colorado to play football. It's like, yeah, that's not what anyone's accusing you of.
First play of my senior season, I get hit. They're throwing a deep route to me. I get hit. The guy breaks my ribs, runs into my liver. Season's over.
And you were a tight end, right?
He certainly was, just like Aaron. Looks and plays like Aaron Hernandez.
He really does look like Aaron Hernandez. It's uncanny.
Yeah.
Okay, next one's called Extreme Genes.
Yeah, so these are where, like, he's talking about his kids, and it's just not a way like a comedian talks about his kids. And like, if Brendan would just say that, he's like, I just realized I don't have a comedian's mentality. But we'll hear how he talks about his comedy career later. This is, he passed on winner's genes here.
Informed.
Yeah.
I think it's just an extreme way to live, but I think if there's a God upstairs, like all the trials and tribulations I've been through was just so I can pass down to my kiddos.
Yeah,
like my 9-year-old is a fucking savage baseball player. He's a pitcher, and it's his mindset.
Yeah,
he didn't get that from a book, from watching YouTube. He gets it from his dad.
Yeah,
the way I talk to him. So
it was none of his own achievements. Nope. It's not hard work. When he said he doesn't get it from YouTube, he doesn't get it. I thought he was going to be like, he gets it from hard work, and that's a quality that I taught him. He's like, no. He gets it from me. I have that gene, and I kindly gave it to my boy. So you're welcome, kid.
Yeah, mother has a totally worthless genetics. I did it all.
And he's like, that's a good point, too. But he's also like, hey, listen, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, but it was all so that my kid could be good at baseball at 9. The real important stuff. Yeah. Like, Brendan has already put on him, the way he talks about his kid in baseball, like, if that kid, oddly, his name is Tiger, and he has that level of expectations on him, where, like, if that kid doesn't become a Major League Baseball player, he's a failure. Brendan has already set that line of thinking. Again, privately, maybe Brendan's a better father than that to get that across to him. But publicly, Brendan has set this expectation. Like, if this kid is not Aaron Judge, he's a fucking failure.
Mm-hmm. That pays off long down the road beyond the sport.
It sure does.
Stand-up debut.
I always like these interviews that are never like they never question him on any of this. Maybe it's like me with Patrick Melton, where they don't know anything about him.
They're just happy he's there.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up. We'll be nice to you. Stand-up debut.
Okay, so this is how Brendan got into stand-up. For anyone that's curious, he's kind of looking back on his career, and you might think, after the way Gringo Poppy was received, or his first special, you'd be surprised. After the way those were received, after kind of being chewed up and spit out by stand-up fans in particular, fans of comedy are the ones that kind of drove Brendan away. That's an interesting perspective to have. So with all of that, how does Brendan look back on his stand-up career?
Cool.
What was your first stand-up gig like? Like, did you prep for it, or did you just go, let me just fucking try it? All my friends are doing it.
The first one, so the Fight on the Kid was getting really big, and then, Brian was touring for 30 freaking years. He's been doing it forever, and he's like, we should do live Fight on the Kids. And I was like, dude, you ever seen a live podcast? They suck. Yeah. He's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do like an improv show. He's like,
oh yeah, that's what they do. Hey, give me a town and an occupation. That's what those Fighter and the Kid shows were like. We watched one. They literally said, anyone got any questions for us for an hour?
It was.
I don't know. Maybe they were different back then when they were more popular. I don't know.
That was the one where they were in Austin, right? The one we watched?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, so maybe back 10 years ago they did improv, where Drew Carey gives them rules and points that they can that don't matter. Maybe that's what the Fighter and the Kid live show was. When Brady comes out.
Yeah, when I'm thinking of a Ryan Stiles replacement, my thoughts go to Brendan Schaub. First thought, it's just how quick he is,
All right, somebody give me a situation, quick.
Okay, honestly though, CTE, whose line is it anyway? I would watch that 100 out of 100 times. Just get on AB, Antonio Brown level kind of people,
Hey, while you mentioned that name, I didn't look into this. I was out the other night with the skirt, and she just read something off her phone. Is Antonio Brown being investigated for murder?
I think I saw that he said he murdered Gavin Newsom's wife's pussy. Heyo.
Okay, all right. So what? So this wasn't real, whatever she saw. Okay, all right. Boy, I cannot trust her for news.
She's your eyes. She can't lie to you, Mike.
It's
What's going on
difficult,
there?
yeah.
We need to
A lot
get
of fake news out there.
Yes.
I think it was either Ontario or Brea. I forget our very first one. Sold out.
The
I'm like,
Improv?
No
yeah.
shit.
I'm like, oh shit, sold out right away. And then Brian was like, all right, we're going to start the show with you, because I was a good storyteller. Brian was like, we're going to start every show with you doing just a 10-minute story. And I was like, I can tell stories. Like, just like you do on the podcast, we'll pretend I'm late, because he was late to every podcast. It was like a reoccurring theme. He's like, well, I'll be late to this. So you just go out on your own to start and tell 10 minutes.
Well, that sounds like fun. We're going to trick the audience. So we're going to tell them the show's delayed because the host is late. And then Brendan's going to do something he's never tried in his life. Oh, fun.
I'm like, say less. So that's how we started doing it. And then we're in Chicago, Vic Theater. Like, I don't know, 6,000 people sold out.
Wow. Oh, wow, man.
And
here's what bugs me. And I think I would have great sympathy for Brendan if he was like, you got to remember, like, people criticize my stand-up career. The first show I ever did was in front of 6,000 people. Like, that's a pretty crazy way to start. And that's an interesting perspective to have. For Brendan to approach comedy that way would be very interesting if he could talk about it honestly. Instead, he looks at it as like him killing it. He's like, I was in front of 6,000 people. Let's hear how he did. I bet he crushed.
We're in the green room. I look at Brian and I go, should I, which story should I tell? And he's like, story? I'm like, yeah, you fucking tell me. That's how we start the show. I do a story. He goes, oh, Bubba, you're doing stand-up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit. He goes, I just didn't want to scare you, but I'm getting ready to do stand-up. He's like, I
didn't want to scare you, so I threw it at you 3 seconds before you walk out. I thought that would really ease the nerves.
Because we know your brain processes super fast.
I thought it would be best if I gave you no time to prepare.
Might be a good strategy, though, with Baba here, actually.
Teller. That's stand-up. He's like, I just didn't want to freak you out, but you've been doing stand-up. And I was like, oh, fuck, he's right.
Oh, wow.
So then that's how it started.
An accidental stand-up comedian.
Just went out and murdered, you know? Just went out and fucking crushed. So we have Brian Calendar. What's that?
Antonio Brown is actually considered a fugitive right now.
See?
Because of, attempted murder charges.
But is that real? Is that a real report?
That is real. I just looked it up in the real news.
All right. Hun, baby, I apologize.
Take it back.
You're not a liar.
Electra, can you double check the banging Gavin Newsom's wife? Because that's also in the news.
We falsely reported that as well. See if that's true.
He said it. Amy said it. I'm just repeating what he said. This next one's called bombing.
Excuse me. So this is Brendan talking about bombing. And now you're thinking, well, Mike, you've been asking for humility. Certainly you'll see it here. And lower your expectations.
But you want to do it the right way. Go to open mic, do that stuff.
Totally. Figure out what works first.
No, just get your
So this
reps
kid
in.
is asking, like, should I get into stand-up? He's like, I see people on Kill Tony, and that kind of, like, freaks me out from ever trying it. Who better to get advice from than Brendan Schaub? Should I start stand-up? So that's what the advice he's giving here.
There's so
you're
many
not doing
guys.
good because you get reps in.
Yeah.
So they say 10 years till you find your voice, but really 5 before you start really getting an act together. But 5 years was back in the day when people were doing 1 set a night. Well, in LA, you could do 4 or 5 sets a night. So you do 5 sets a night, you're going to be
you're going to see what
way
works.
better.
Yeah.
This dickhead. After everything he's been through, he's like, they used to say could take 10 years. Let's be 5, probably, and even like that's a little extreme. You'll probably be talented. Yeah. Let's see, 5 divided by 5, because you said you used to give you used to do 1 set a night. Now you could do 5 sets a night. We'll divide that number by 5. Quick math here. I guess you'll be good in a year at stand up. That's how it was for me. This cocksucker has been through the ringer. I've had sympathy for him. I've defended this man and said, the perspective that Brendan could have for stand-up comedy is so unique. And he could pass that on to future generations. And he's telling this kid, hit some open mics. You'll be a star in a year. Don't worry about it. He learned nothing from that process.
Malcolm Gladwell says it takes 10,000 hours to be an expert or something. Those are dog year hours.
It's
interesting. Get that done in a
interesting.
10th of time.
It's interesting you use that number, that Malcolm Gladwell number, because, say what you want about Malcolm Gladwell. He certainly doesn't know as much about comedy as the name that Brendan is about to invoke. Oh, no. So listen to Brendan. Just sometimes comedians have differences of opinion. Let's see who Brendan disagrees with.
In 5 years,
and
you
you
might
have to
be
eat
fucking
shit
rolling
before
in
you can
two.
You have to bomb sets to understand
just
what
how
works.
it goes.
Yeah, have you? I'm sure you've bombed before.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe in the Louis.
That is fun.
That was a troll.
I bombed. I guess I bombed. You might be right. I can't tell, Electra, if this guy's trolling him, because he seems like a genuine Rogan Segura fan. He might be in on the joke, but I couldn't fully tell. But Brendan's like, I guess they make me think about it. Hold on. Was this a dream I had? No, I did bomb once. Yeah. No, that did happen. Now that I think about it, I guess I have bombed. Yeah, now that you mention it.
Then
just how it goes.
Yeah. Have you? I'm sure you've bombed before.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe in the Louis C.K., who's one of the goats, who says you got to bomb 1,000 times for you get good. I don't believe in that.
Oh, yeah, he probably doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. You know what, Brendan? He's probably a fucking moron, and you're probably right. Let's watch Shoot Up, and then watch Gringo Poppy, and see whose opinion we trust more on how that might work.
That is amazing.
You probably shouldn't be doing it.
You probably, if you're bombing all the time.
Hold on, go back. I want the full context of that, where he says you shouldn't be doing it. This is very interesting to me.
It's important for future comedians to hear.
Louis C.K., who's one of the goats, who says you got to bomb 1,000 times for you get good. I don't believe in that.
No.
You probably shouldn't be doing it.
You probably, if you're bombing all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
Brendan. But here's what's frustrating about is there's never, and I wouldn't have a problem with any of this if he just threw in a line here and there, and he's like, and who knows more about bombing than me? You know what I mean?
That's it. That's all.
One self-deprecating line.
He's a tag away. He's one tag away.
Yes. He's a comedian away from having one of those moments.
Yes. And now he's over stand-up. Mike, that's the last segment here.
Okay, well, he quit stand-up not because he was bombing, as we heard. That was pretty rare. But he quit stand-up because he just didn't have time. And he's like... We used to hear Brendan talk about how he just has a comedian's brain. Like, oh, man, Rogan would always tell me, like, I just have that mindset. Like, I fit into stand-up so well because I'm just one of the guys. Like, I think like a stand-up. And it's amazing how quickly after Gringo Poppy, it seemed to dry up. I don't know why that mentality went away.
Kids, you know.
And for some people, it might be tough for them to step back from stand up and all that accolation and all the
accolation,
positive reinforcement, get attention.
Yeah. All the accolation. I think he means accolades. I assume, right?
Accolades and he's mixing words up. Yeah,
I couldn't think of what the other word was, but he means accolades.
You know who does that all the time is Bigfoot from Howard Stern. We listen to that on our show, and he mixes up words just.
But that's where again. Is that a mistake I'm capable of making? Of course.
Of course, yeah.
Like Brendan, if he was just a little more of a maybe it's the problem with being his size also, where no one in that room is going to go accolation. The fuck are you saying?
We need Stuck Joe there.
I think he's just too intimidating to have ever been a funny person because he's a massive guy. Go back a little bit. We stepped on some of that.
Yeah, no problem. Hold on, 502.
Man.
Sorry, here we go.
And all the positive reinforcement you get, all the attention.
Yeah,
I'm over it, man.
That's what he's really over. He's like, I can't. It's enough with the positivity. I just couldn't take it anymore. People throwing flowers at me every time I walked off stage. Guys, knock it off. Let me just be a person for once. I hate the accolation.
Is he seeing things like Skinny Chad sees things? Is their reality different than ours? That is amazing.
If he had said like, I just don't have that in me to like, I put out Gringo Poppy, I worked really hard on it, and it just got shit on, and I don't have, if he's like, hey, I have the fortitude to work through adversity, like in the ring or on the football field or whatever, but whatever the difference is on a comedy stage, I don't have that. If he said something like that, you'd be like, wow, how insightful. That's so interesting, Brendan. But instead he's like, I just got sick of all the praise. Like it was, It was too much for me to handle. It was enough already. Stop kissing my ass, Reddit. Hey, homeless cats, enough of being so nice to me all the time.
Positive reinforcement you get, all the attention.
Yeah.
I'm over it, man. Like there's nothing better to me than my son has a double header and watching him do his thing like that.
Yeah.
I'm good, man.
I'd rather just scream at an umpire making $50.
Yeah. Wow, that was amazing lack of self-awareness, Mike. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah.
You should write a book.
Hey, but here's there's an interesting book inside of Brendan Schaub. He's lived a very interesting life. Wow. And I think it's part of the reason he's able to find an audience. But he just has the ability to articulate what's interesting about himself. It isn't there. It is a skill that he just does not possess, or he's chosen to never examine it,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like him if he did. I like this version. Just stay the way you are.
Yeah, I know. But there's a goofball in there that could laugh at himself. I've always believed that. And every time he talks, I look like a fucking moron because it seems like it doesn't exist.
No, we got a few super chats here. Then we'll get over to Delia's.
Yes, we're going to see what the Golden Hour is up to without Brendan Schaub.
It's awful.
Adam
Hey,
Bush.
no spoilers.
Adam Bush, $1.99. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Don't know if it's the real Adam Bush.
I think that was about the segment.
Adam.
Adam gave you skinny chat, I think.
Skinny chat.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks. I wouldn't brag that much about it, but I don't know if I'd want credit for that. But
Hamilton Burger. AB is wanted for shooting someone in Miami.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
The skinny chat is like
shooting his ear. It was like it went, grazed him. But
oh well, that's fine.
Still attempted murder.
That's no big deal.
Skinny chat is like It Follows. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but Adam had to pawn him off on someone else or he would be killed. That's how it works. So then Karl, now it's up to Karl. He's got to pawn him off on someone. Not it. Yes. Mike, you're it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's how it works.
I made a mistake.
Drunkle Greg, $2. I came by myself, late and alone again.
Oh, thank you.
You're always welcome here, brother.
All right, let's get to D'Elia and
the Golden Hour.
Yes, the great show. Amazing.
Chris D'Elia and Eric Griffin have been left to their own devices. And when I talk about Brendan Schaub being a punching bag, I think that's what he was on that show. The reason we didn't talk about a ton about the Golden Hour is because it's D'Elia. When Brendan Schaub is on it, I think it's actually D'Elia at his best. Like D'Elia with Brendan Schaub, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I see the appeal of D'Elia. He's a little bit of a smart ass and a ball buster, and he comes off like funnier than Schaub. So there was someone there to kind of regulate. Now with that guy gone, I wanted to check in on what they do, because Brendan Schaub's doing the thing where he's like, I'll pop into the Golden Hour once in a while, but I won't be there every week. I just realized some people think this is what I'm doing. It's not. I swear. Brendan's moving to a different state. It's very different. But Brendan's like, I'll be on the Golden Hour. We'll see if that's true. You know what? I believe in Brendan. I think he's going to do a lot. I think he's going to host Menner's Live once in a while, So I believe in Brendan Schaub, now that I think about it. But the Golden Hour has been left to their own devices, where it's just D'Elia and Eric Griffin. They probably need some time to find their footing, but this could be ugly. This, by the way, with D'Elia and Eric Griffin, this show started with Theo Vaughn and Brendan Schaub. I think it's the same RSS feed, and now it's two totally different guys.
A little rebranding, maybe, is what you're saying? A little rebrand on the show?
I guess so, yeah. So let's see how the show begins. This is the hilarity we can expect with these two guys taking the reins.
Yeah, this is just the intro, so buckle in.
Yeah.
Yeah, nay, 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 nay. Yeah, nay, 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 nay. Nope. It's a bunch of Mexican stuff.
Isn't it wacky?
It is wacky.
Wow.
I got to be honest. I left a little of the theme song in there. I don't hate that. I know people make fun of it. I don't hate the theme song.
It's not bad. I gotta be honest.
It's the most appealing part of it. I get excited when I'm cutting Golden Hour clips. At least I get to listen to the theme song. But like, so that's how the show starts. They do that thing where it's like, well, when you see this clip, you're gonna be hooked, and it's just D'Elia making noises and then cackling about it. So maybe we're in for some real insanity and hilarity. So this is like just how the show kind of starts without Brendan, and I hate to say it, but Brendan may have been the straw that stirred the drink there.
Uh-oh.
You know what, dude? We are. It's not even that we moved. It's not even that Brendan moved. It's not that the show changed. It's that the show is changing, and we're still coming at you, dude.
D'Elia is the master of taking forever to say nothing. Listen to that line where it's like, it's not even that Brendan changed. It's not. It took him like 25 seconds to go, it's not that we changed. It's that we're changing. And the fucking morons that are D'Elia fans go, wow, that's deep, brother. That's really good. That's really insightful and interesting. What an introspective guy Chris D'Elia is.
Has the Golden Hour song been the same since the Theo Von and...
No, it was the King and the Sting back then.
Oh, okay.
And then it was the King and the Sting and the Wing. And then I believe very briefly it was the King, the Sting, the Wing, and the Thing. And then Theo Von hightailed it the fuck out of there. And so for the last couple of years, I think it's been the Golden Hour, and they came up with that song.
It's not even that it's changing. You know what we're doing? We're transitioning.
That's good, Eric. I was going to say, I'm glad I don't have to do that. When Chris was talking, I was going to say, Eric, just make a bunch of noise. Come on, just ambient noise, whatever you can do. Just let people know you're there. It doesn't matter if you're coherent. Just fucking make sounds. So I didn't have to give that note. I appreciate it.
Be my Michael Winslow.
Yes.
Transitioning. Yeah. And you know what? Right now, I'm sorry, but we're they, them, because we don't know yet. Yeah, right?
And we still identify as...
We don't know. It's fluid, is what
it's
we're
really
saying.
edgy. You guys remember when people were into like pronoun jokes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you go to the mothership like 3 years ago? Yeah, it's pretty... These are Kill Tony level like open mic jokes. They're like, now we're they, them. Isn't that a topical thing, guys? Make some fucking Monica Lewinsky references, Chris. Jesus Christ.
Well, they're still working on it. It's a work in progress. Mike, you can't see it, but there's like they're building behind them. They got ladders, hammers. They're still working on it. It's a work in progress.
Good. I'm sure Chris and Eric are picking up those hammers after the show.
Yes, no.
We do look like we have a podcast where two guys would talk to you like this.
Hey, we're gonna put together a cabinet.
Yeah. So we don't have and everyone's always like, you know, are you keeping?
Imagine you know those fucking retards that work for a living. You know those fucking losers? Imagine a guy, like he's a carpenter, and he's like, hey, we're putting together a fucking cabinet. I don't know how to put two sentences together because I'm a meathead that works with my hands. What is that character they're doing? I look like some dickbag that picks up a hammer for a living. It's like, yeah, a lot of them are funnier than these two fucking morons.
I gotta say, Chris looks a little rough right now. I don't know what's going on in his life, but he
does make a joke that might lead to that?
Oh, okay.
I have no idea. I don't know.
He doesn't look normal. He looks tired. Let's just.
He's getting a goiter or something.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he's all right.
And still on the show, we don't have him this week because he's been moving to Texas. We're gonna have him on the show, but they were like, "Do you want to wait?" And I was like, "No, let's just do it."
Yeah, we'll just do it.
I like that they're like, "We don't have him on the show because he's moving to Texas. Once he's in Texas, he'll always be on."
This show is okay with a feed, a StreamYard feed, Mike.
That's true. It probably would not be interrupted. You don't need that magic that these three have when they're in the same room together. That's fair.
Some other shows should think about that. I'm just saying.
Dude. You don't need him. You know what I'm saying? Dude, and we're scoping out the new area. We got a nice, of course, Eric already scoped out the smoothie place.
Yeah, and there's a taco place over there, too. I got a smoothie.
Yeah. So Eric will have tried every thing by tomorrow.
And, I always wonder, this is so cool what they're doing, because I always wonder, like, what's the neighborhood like that these guys are in? Like, are they able to get, like, coffee, or when they're done, can they get a good meal? Like, what's the situation there? I'm so curious as they're talking about fucking nothing. I'm curious what the street is like that they're on. Yeah. So I'm glad they're bringing it to life for us.
How's the parking? Let me know.
Right, exactly, yeah. Is it a busy street? What's it like at rush hour? When do you guys have to record? because you guys pre-record, but it's still important to me when you're recording the episodes, so I can kind of picture L.A., the hustle and bustle, as you guys are bringing comedy to me.
You got dairy-free for those shakes? Give us all the information, please.
And I was
that joke's in honor of Brendan,
right?
Since he's not here,
right?
To continue though.
Right. So, but yeah, so we don't know what we're doing with this background yet, but we will. We got a plan. We do have a kind of a plan, but it is cool because we consolidated studios, and fucking Lifeline's going to be here too. So live it up.
Oh
dude.
yes, yes. Now when I'm listening to Chris and his brother give advice, I'll know. Oh my God, that's the same wall that the golden hour sits in front of.
Live it up if you're in the podcast ecosystem, or like if you watch podcasts, I guess. I don't know.
By the way, Chris hosts both those shows, Lifeline and the Golden Hour. I think people probably just assume it's the same room. Like, who would give a fuck? Like, no one's watching, like, Why Are You Laughing? And is like, I wonder if that's the same room the Blind Mike Project is in. Yeah, why wouldn't it be?
That's a fun experiment. See if it brings any more viewers. I'm in a different room, people.
Well, we'll see. We'll see in a few months. I'll change rooms. And you guys better line up. It's going to be exciting.
Do you have a room set aside for a studio?
I do.
Can we have a competition?
And it's going to change
decorate
everything. No,
Can we decorate it? Oh.
No. You'll have no.
We
part in- Yeah, I want to make this very clear. You, Skinny Chad, all of you, you'll have no part in the decoration of my home.
Oh, I get one poster space. I'm going to work for that. I'm going to work towards that.
It's a mistake, Mike. It's a mistake.
I don't know.
All right, new topics.
Okay, so now we're getting into business here. What are the boys? What do they bring into the table? Now they've cut the dead weight. Like that idiot, that numbskull Brendan is gone. What are they going to get into now that they're free to roam and examine all sorts of new topics? Where are they going to go?
I know.
If you don't want to deal with stuff, you say, "Eric, can you pick me up?" I'm gonna be at the
I know
airport.
that. I just know you, and I know you're a flight tracking motherfucker for sure.
Yeah, I've tracked flights. I picked Matt Rife up from the airport one time.
Why? He's rich.
No, it's because he was dealing with some
No,
stuff.
it's because I'm his driver. Eric Griffin
job.
is Matt Wright's driver. I like that he's like, no, you don't understand. I picked him up because he was going through something. It's like he could have gone through something in the back of an Uber Black, you know? It wouldn't be that crazy. He said, "Hey, oh boy, come fetch me from the airport."
Oh, okay.
And he was coming in, you know what I mean? And he was like, I said, "I'll meet you." I said, "Don't worry about it."
Right, you told me this, yeah.
You know, and then I wrote, I even put his name on the thing, and I was standing
funny.
there like this, but I had a different word.
People were like, "Montez is a Matt Rife fan,"
right?
No, but wait, what were we just talking about going to the airport? Oh yeah, I don't pick anybody up from the airport.
He checked his notes. This is a scripted fucking story.
Really?
He checked what were we talking about again? And he looked down at his notes and he said,
"Oh, the airport." Well, guys, if you were worried, if you're like, there aren't enough comedy duos talking about their airport adventures. I wish comedians would talk more about their travel. And to be fair, like if Joe List and Mark Norman were doing this, I'd be eating it up because I find them funny. But these two managed to fall flat. They say, "Hey, let's take some tread upon ground and add nothing new to the conversation." What you're going to hear is airports and moving. Bit of a pain in the ass. I don't know if you've heard that kind of take before. And no, if you're asking yourself, is this 1982? It isn't. This was recorded last week.
Give us any story where we can mention better comedians. Right.
That's not, no. If you're over 35, you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't ask for it. If that's more the thing. You can do it because you do it. You want to be there for somebody. Okay. If somebody asks you to pick them up
with you,
dude, we're not friends anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm Uber to you.
Who asked you to pick them up from the airport? Keith Hernandez? This was a Seinfeld episode from 30 fucking years ago. More than 30 years ago.
Yeah, he's
Chris is like, I don't like picking people up. I'm just going to go ahead and say the way he's saying it, I think is what bugs me, where he's like, listen, I'll face the backlash. Like, write your emails. I don't care anymore. Picking people up at the airport, not for me. And Chris, you can't just say that into a microphone. There's freedom of speech, but there's consequences, for God's sake.
It really is like he's our buddy, but this is a Tom Myers level sort of. The airport.
No.
We don't pick
I'm
people
gonna
up
come
from
up
the
with
airport.
something very, very unique about it. I'm sure.
One day it'll happen.
I charge you for it.
In this, like,
you know, when someone asked me someone asked me for a flight to the airport, you know what I do? Turned it down. That's what I do.
Why does that get a laugh? Maybe that's the language of the show that I'm just missing. He's like, someone asked me to get someone to the airport, I turned them down, and they're like, "Oh, Chris, you said that in such a cute way."
No, that's just awful.
Turned it down.
Yeah, I don't know what are we talking about. I think there's just certain things you just don't ask for anymore. I'm not taking you to the airport. I'm not picking you up from the airport.
I like Eric Griffin's no BS attitude. Like, hey, if we're gonna get into it, you know what else? Fucking taking you to the airport. That's not for me either. Picking you up. I'm not an importer nor an exporter. You know that I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. And like I said, plenty of podcasts have conversations like this. You can cut up any podcast talking about Monday, the weather, or whatever the fuck, and maybe they're good podcasts, and you just found this is like 15 minutes, and the attitude they have is like, I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, I don't care the repercussions. I'm gonna say this. Like, the airports suck. You know what else I don't like? Traffic. How's that sound? You know what? I don't care if that bothers you. I don't care, you little snowflake. I don't care if that triggers you. I don't like traffic. I don't like bad weather. And I don't like the airport.
No grapes, no nuts. What's the deal?
I'm helping you move. I'm not. There's like a list of things.
Helping
that
you move
in
is
this,
a huge one.
in this day and age.
Oh, Eric,
Helping
you
you
did not. You did not just go there. Chris has been a millionaire for some time. Do you think fucking his friends are calling him to help him move? This is not a problem that they deal with.
I don't know can you name. There's like maybe just 4 people on your list that if they said, I really need you to help me move, who would you help? And then well, how would you even help them? You would probably you'd get a mover. You'd hire a mover.
Yeah, because you're in your 40s. Of course you would. You should be able to at that point. That's not. They're like, I'm just thinking of this now. You know what sucks? Picking up your friends' boxes and moving them to a new location. That thought just crossed my mind. Has anyone ever thought of something like that before?
Asian lady drivers, am I right?
Women be shopping. You know what I noticed is that women, they be shopping.
They do.
You know, they're always at the mall and they're spending their man's money. That's what I notice about these women.
This next one is called Uh-Oh. It scares me.
Oh yeah, this is very quick. But D'Elia hints at something. You said he looks stressed. I hope this isn't what's happening. We like Kristen D'Elia very much here on the program. This could just be a total joke. I don't listen to the show enough. But I was like, uh-oh.
All right, Electra is a lady. Judge if this is a joke. There we go.
To their house.
My parents,
your
my
brother,
my wife lives with me, so for now. So no, that's
I don't know. That could be a total. I've said stuff like that. That could be a total.
D'Elia is not that funny. That's not a joke. That was truth.
Also,
He's not actually that funny.
Also,
all right.
If you could see the face when he brings up my wife, it is not a happy. It's like a microaggression, real quick. And that tells you that he is not a happy camper with her. So yes,
I actually feel I think Chris D'Elia may have done some not so great stuff, but if he's going through that, I do feel bad for him.
Unfortunately, she gets half of Chris D'Elia money. So I'm sorry. That looked a lot better back in the Whitney days, I'm sure. But,
well, I mean, I always say this. When he came to Boston, he sold out the Wang Theater, which is a 3,000 seat venue, and I think he did multiple shows. So I think D'Elia's doing all right.
This next one is called "Oh, There's More."
Oh yeah, so you might have thought because they're obviously we've moved off the moving and airport talk. Not so fast, my friend.
What a short list.
If you asked me to help you move, I would text you back, "Fuck you."
We got it. You wouldn't want to move. It's a pain in the ass. We understand.
Take my wife, please. God damn.
They're acting like people are at home like, holy shit. I've always hated moving, but I've never thought to say it that way. Like oh, man, they really encapsulate it in a way I never thought of. They're like, Nate Bargatze, where they're talking about everyday things, but just in a way I could never conceive of.
George Carlin who?
Yes.
And because I want you to understand the severity of it.
No, it would be it would be a real big discussion. Like if you said to me, I need you to help me move. Like if you, Chris D'Elia says help me move.
We got it. Some people you'd want to help, some people you wouldn't. We get it. That's how all of life works.
Are
if
you
a
okay?
stranger asked me to cut his grass, I wouldn't want to. If my dad did it, maybe I'd do it. We understand the complexity of this argument.
Mike, are you getting a moving company or are you asking friends?
None of your fucking business.
Okay, well, I just thought.
No,
that
listen,
means
here's what I would say. No. We would probably hire movers because we don't want to do it ourselves. That's the thing, is it's not a lot of fun. So we wouldn't really want to do it. However, if we did ask friends, I bet they would think, I don't really want to do this. And some of them would think we're worthy of helping out, and some wouldn't. That's how it works. People have been moving for generations. It's not a new thought. They spent 20 minutes on this fucker.
Well, Craig's like an ox. You could just tie boxes to him like a mule. So,
yes.
That's...
Again, none of you will take part in any of this, but
damn it.
I'll keep that in mind.
No, I wouldn't be.
You wouldn't be okay.
I wouldn't be.
Yeah, you wouldn't be okay.
If I'm
Something's
asking
going on.
If I'm asking you to help me move, someone is in my skin trying to rob me.
We got it. It's not something you do. How many ways are you going to say it? I'm being held at gunpoint if I'm asking you to move. We understand. It's not something you do.
I would.
Yeah. You know what? That's going to be our code. You're in trouble.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Help me move.
Now I know.
I need help moving. That won't. Yeah.
That's gonna be the trouble.
It'd be hilarious if someone was like sexually assaulting me and I'm trying to call you and I'm just like.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious, Chris. Maybe that's why he was doing it. He was all those years he was performing this moving sketch that he was working on, and the girls just didn't get the art.
Now I'm just picturing him getting pounded from behind on the phone. God damn you, Chris.
Listen, I'm sure it's tough. Like, if you're going to have a career talking into a microphone, I'm sure it's tough to avoid some of that stuff. But if you're Chris D'Elia, just stay away from the word sexual assault. You know,
why would you?
Try and avoid it at all costs.
It's like Cosby selling vitamins. Just stay away from pills, man.
Right. It's not your lane.
Yes.
And I'm just like,
I need help moving. I need you to help me pack my shit.
And I forget the code, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, idiot?
Are you having gay sex?
Just ask for that.
Yeah.
Do you get it, people? That's how much they don't want to move. How much do you hate moving, Chris? I hate it so much that only held at gunpoint. He's adjusts his tie.
Hate it more than my wife. Oops. I didn't say that.
Yeah, so I don't know, man, but
all right, 10 minutes in. I can't believe this show. This is a crazy
show. So we're still good. So this is still all right. 10 minutes in, it's like, maybe time for a new topic. Listen, like I said, any show could riff on moving or whatever. That happens, especially if you do a show every week or every couple times a week, whatever. You get into some of that stuff. Certainly 10 minutes is time to move on. We've done enough, moving
to the
and
meat.
Talk. Yeah.
Get to the meat.
Yeah, exactly.
I just tell you this. I don't want to wait for shit.
Oh yeah, I know.
I get my bag, and then I just walk right over to the terminal, and there.
How are we back at the airport? We moved on. We were literally moving on to moving. How are we back at the airport?
Don't get me started with taxis.
Son of a bitch.
My car.
That's great. That okay. So there is a pro to that because you don't have to be like, "Where's the guy?"
Yeah,
that is annoying.
Also, this too. Then you're trying not to be cool, right? So you're like, "I'll get my bag," and he's like, "No, I'm gonna get the bag." So you're having this kind of like, "No, I can get my own bag," but at the same time, that's his fucking job. So why would you get the bag?
Maybe I should drive my car to the airport.
That's what I'm saying. Especially if it's $500. It's never going to be $500.
No, yeah.
Because you're going your 2 days, top 3 days.
Right. Yeah.
No, it's never going to be that. Even if you don't.
This is a boring phone call, not even a show.
No, whoa. You're not picking up on something that I am here, friend.
Okay.
You're too quick to rush to judgment. I didn't realize they did kind of bring up a new subject. Parking at the airport.
Okay, yeah, it is. It is totally.
Now that can be expensive, but sometimes it's worth it. What the fuck are we doing? What year did we transport to for this conversation? Hello. Oh, goodness.
Oh, sorry.
Thank God. I almost panicked.
What
but
happened there?
I don't know. Listen, I probably hit a button I shouldn't have. I'm going to take the blame for that one.
All right.
I thought I had to do some work here. I was like getting panicked.
Well, that's why I did it. I did it to test Electra.
Dang,
I almost just left.
Jump into action.
No, don't leave. It was 2 seconds.
All right.
All right, let's get back to it.
Just ask for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know, man, but
all right. So back to
I
10
just tell you this. I don't want to wait for shit.
oh yeah, I know.
I get my bag, and then I just walk right over to the terminal, and there's my car.
That's great.
I needed to, Mike. I needed to hear this again.
Okay. So there is a pro to that because you don't have to be like, "Where's the guy?"
Yeah,
that is annoying.
Also, this too. And then you're trying not to be cool, right? So you're like, "I'll get my bag," and he's like, "No, I'm gonna get the bag." So you're having this kind of like, "No, I can get my own bag," but at the same time, that's his fucking job. So why would you get the bag?
Maybe I should drive my car there.
That's what I'm saying. Especially if it's $500. It's never going to be $500.
No. Yeah.
I hope the saga continue. I hope next week we learn whether or not Chris drove his car to the airport. I hope they don't just leave us hanging, because now we have a full week of like, Chris probably traveled this weekend. How did he get to LAX? Did he park there? Did he take an Uber? This is, God, I'm just left with the great unknowing is the worst thing.
Your 2 days, top 3 days?
Right. Yeah.
No, it's never going to be that. Even if you don't go to this site, I'm telling you, it's still $60 a day. Think about that.
Think about it. Take some time to think about it. Take some time to really reflect. To sit there. $60 a day. Is that, in the grand scheme of things, is that worth it? Who gives a shit?
It's funny. I left and I thought it would break up the momentum, but you can't break up this momentum. There's
but I keep saying that it's possible to have that, like all podcasts can get into that conversation. Usually they try to bring up a new or interesting point, or hammer the person for not doing that and be like, what the fuck? Yeah, you think we don't know that parking at the airport is difficult? But it's yes and to nothing. It's like, yes, parking and moving. All these topics and more on the Golden Hour.
Yeah. This sounds like all those podcasts that came out of LA during the 2020.
This is what Marc Maron was talking about, where it's just two guys fucking talking about nothing. Yeah. This is what Marc Maron is feeling very guilty about.
He created this, Marc. Your fault. This one, now it gets crazy though, Mike. Crazy time.
All right, I'm bracing myself.
Wait, so, interesting. I couldn't believe when I was at the 7-Eleven here before I got in, because I wanted to like scope out the area, so I actually got a Starbucks, which is crazy. I don't drink Starbucks.
Whoa! It was a fucking you get right the fuck out of here. The most popular coffee chain in America, maybe on the planet, I assume, right? It's got to be. Chris got his beverage there. That's fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've moved on. Listen, you ease people in with, hey, there's traffic at the airport. Airport itself can be a bummer. I don't like to help people move. But then you get into the crazy stuff. Where's Chris going to get his coffee when he goes to the studio? I'm very invested in this.
Walk up Starbucks.
No.
Yeah, like
no seating. I just want to capture that sound. Chris said the most mundane thing maybe he's ever said. He goes, "There's a walk-up Starbucks," and Eric Griffin goes, "No." This is the sound. Can we hear that again? This is what if you went up to Eric Griffin, and said, "Eric, a man named Adam Lanza has gone into Sandy Hook Elementary School." And there have been mass casualties. This is how Eric would have reacted.
Starbucks, which is crazy. I don't drink Starbucks, but I got the Starbucks. It was a fucking walk-up Starbucks.
No.
Hold on. I want to hear just that sound again. Eric, James Holmes has gone to the Dark Knight premiere. It's a horror. He thinks he's the Joker. He's a madman, Eric.
Starbucks.
Can you believe this?
It's a fucking walk-up Starbucks.
No.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it happened.
It's more like the charges. Chris is like, the charges came today. You know, those sexual assault charges.
That's fair.
No.
Yes, they did.
Eric, a second plane has hit the World Trade Center. We're under attack, Eric.
Yeah. Like,
oh God damn it! It's like right. It's right in the middle of the Starbucks.
It was a fucking walk-up Starbucks.
Greg's better at this.
No.
Yeah, like
I'll give Craig. That's one thing he's very good at. We would have had fun with this bit.
God damn it!
It's good that you made people miss Craig more, Casey.
Oh no, I do that. That's my reason
Shout
for
out to
existing.
shout out to the Craigophiles. Yes, Eric is stunned. All right, let's hear more about this coffee house because it seems, my God, Chris D'Elia at a walk-up Starbucks. Can you believe it?
you no seating.
Hold on. I didn't hear that part. He goes, no. We got to hear it all again. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
back.
that's okay.
He says no, and then he's still mystified. He goes, what? You? Televisions and stages, Chris D'Elia? At a walk-up Starbucks? As I live and breathe. It can't be, Chris. Say it ain't so.
Starbucks. It was a fucking walk-up Starbucks.
No.
Yeah, like no seating.
What? That what? All right, so we said what the no is like. The what is more like if you told a young Eric Griffin, you're like, I know you're a big Barry Bonds fan. He's on steroids. He said, what? It was just disbelief. He couldn't believe it.
No.
Yeah, like no seating. You just walk up like you're a fucking Jehovah's Witness. Hi, you know what I mean? Like, and I literally knocked. I knocked. I go like this because I didn't know what to do, and I'm like, "There's a car."
Eric is. He's being overtaken by a spirit of some kind. He's unhinged. He can't believe what he's hearing.
I'm like, is this a drive-through only? So I go,
see,
knock, knock, knock,
and your guy usually does it.
Yeah. And the guy opens up the window and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Is this for cars?" Or I said, "Can I order a coffee?" And he says, "Yeah, I know it's a weird store." And I'm like, "Wow, all right."
He said, "Yeah, I know it's a weird store. Probably not worth talking on a major podcast, but you know, it is. I'll grant you, it's a little unusual."
I'm going to kill 20 minutes on my podcast with this interaction tonight. Thank you, barista.
They opened a drive-through dispensary by my house. Want to talk about that for 20 minutes?
I don't, actually.
Okay, good.
Nor should anyone.
Great.
Yeah.
Get this, and he's like, people often don't know what to do here, and I'm like, he's like, I've never seen another Starbucks like this, and I'm like, this is crazy. So I got to Starbucks and I went to 7-Eleven.
Oh God! Don't even tell me.
7-Eleven. Do you know that place is open all day?
Chris went to
what?
Chris went to maybe the two most trafficked stores in America. I went to Starbucks and 7-Eleven, and Eric Griffin is like, no. You all by yourself, Chris?
Yeah, I get it, people. LA comics suck. I finally get it. I finally get why people hate LA podcasts. Oh my God. We are terrible. All right, next one is the D'Elia influence.
Oh, so this is like, I actually give them kind of credit for talking about this because this actually is kind of funny. But it's interesting to hear the perspective Chris has on himself. They're talking about other podcasters that are mimicking Chris D'Elia, which actually is very interesting. I always ask, like, who's a Chris D'Elia fan? And I think I've answered that question in my mind. I know the type of guy that is a Chris D'Elia fan, and they actually pinpointed it for us on this program.
It's
and okay, so
also since last week we've had a lot of people sending in other guys who are kind of
that are also me.
Your essence.
All right, play it. No, you got the volume in the back there.
Australia, dude, get out. Live somewhere else. Not there, dude. They're the size of fucking middle schoolers. I think they could be the same size as a small coffee table.
Yeah, sorry for.
What are you doing?
Sorry, this guy exists now.
There.
Hold on, that's kind of like that's Chris being funny, self-deprecating. What is missing here is like that's not a poor imitation of Chris. That's Chris's solo podcast. That's how easy it is to do what Chris does when he's alone. Like That's the exact. It's the cadence. It's the type of topic he'd be talking about. It's the type of jokes he'd be making. It's funny to watch Chris watch Chris watch a guy do an exact version of him and be like, "Can you believe this hack?"
Yes. It's like when you hear your own voice, you're like, "Oh, that's terrible. Who's that? Me? No."
Sometimes, you know, when I see this, because people will be like,
"Does this guy follow you?"
I don't know. No, probably not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But and that's fine. And this guy looks funny to me. He looks funny. He is funny and whatever. Maybe he's seen my podcast or whatever. But also, like, I don't own any of that cadence. Influence is influence, and influence is great.
No, you know what, Chris? I think you have to wear it. It's yours. You have to own this. It's your fault that people talk like that.
Yeah, this food has your spit all over it. Now eat it.
Yeah.
Great. I took it from people, and so that's funny. But this is hilarious. It's hilarious that people send me this, and they're like,
No, but I mean, I just feel like it's like more like a, it's more like a language, you know?
Yeah. There's other podcasters that do it where I noticed, and then I've like become. Oh, he does follow me.
Well, there you go.
See, that's all it takes, bro. I'm gonna follow this guy. I love this guy, Vinny.
He just apologized for him 2 seconds ago. He's like, I apologize for this asshole. You know what? He follows me. He's a nice, funny guy. But like, it is funny to watch D'Elia like kind of watch himself when it's like, it's weird to me that he has that level of influence because I just think it sucks so much. But I just don't get it. Like Chris is very popular. Like he does well. So it's just something that I'm missing. But like when I hear it, it's nails on a chalkboard to me. I can't listen to it when he's alone. It's tough.
Cool Dad is the next one.
Oh, again, there's certain topics maybe Chris should just stay away from, and it's tough as a father when he talks about his kids, but like this is one maybe Chris just doesn't inject his thoughts into it.
That's your fault,
You have
Nick.
to change the language to English.
So what were you thinking about? You were thinking about Calvin, not thinking you're cool?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking.
Not thinking you're funny.
I drove by his school, and I saw kids that were older than him hanging out, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's so weird."
I was very turned on.
Be that
I was
age.
like, "Who are all these sexy kids? Why aren't you inviting me to hang with your cool friends, Calvin?"
Maybe this is why he does all the mundane stuff, so he could slip in this crazy shit.
Yeah, this was like 40 minutes in, so yeah, maybe you're right.
You're asleep by the time he tells you, "I'm a chat Reddit."
Yeah.
And I thought, what if I? And then I saw a car beyond the kids, and I was like,
"Oh no, an adult! Scatter!"
My God, this guy notices the most mundane things.
That's where I would park if I had to pick Calvin up, because I wouldn't be right there, because I don't want to embarrass him because I'm his dad.
Oh.
Right? So, but then I go like
Not
this.
me.
But then right? Because then I go, because I got that too. So I'm like, then I go, I wonder actually if maybe I'm cool, Dad. Fuck it. I go.
Maybe these other kids will want to hang out with me, huh? Maybe I'm cool enough for all these high school kids to want to hang out with. Chris, stay away. If I'm your publicist, I'm running into the room and slamming the mics off. You can't talk about high schools like this.
Yeah, man, learn.
Shit, I'm a comedian.
I'm
They know that.
Like, kind of hot, you know? Maybe they'll think I'm like a handsome guy that they want to hang out with when his wife's not around, you know?
I'm gonna pull up, be like, "Yo, Cal, come in." Make him laugh and shit.
Yeah.
But that and is, even if you are a cool dad, that what I'm talking about right now, what I'm thinking, that is what uncool dad thinks. So you never really know.
No.
I'm not gonna be able to pick up these chicks. Damn it!
Are you being skinny Chris D'Elia right now?
Who?
Well, you're playing. He's playing a character.
I see. Yes. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
My God, what a collection, assortment of weirdos on today's show. But that is.
Yeah. Well, you know, like the golden hour, it's going to take them some time to get their footing. But maybe having Brendan Schaub there was not the worst thing for them, you know? They had something to riff on and make fun of.
Yeah, you need sort of a place to go, and where they're going is not. It's very boring, but also very scary there at the end.
We'll see. We'll keep an eye on the golden hour as they progress without Baba.
All right, got a few super chats here, and then we got Maron and the Opster left. So.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Electra. Electra. All right, Boaz for $4.99.
$4.99.
Oh, I know Boaz.
Happy Father's Day from Boaz to all the dads out there except Clemmer, who impregnate many different women
Well,
when
I don't
he
know.
and Boaz work together at McDonald's.
I doubt that seems slanderous to me. I don't know if that's true, Boaz, but did I say this at the beginning? I meant to say the symbolism of me talking about Portnoy like that on Father's Day was funny to me, but me complaining about a guy that doesn't respect me enough.
That is. Go ahead, Electra.
Troy Smith, 199. Please cover the After Hour pod. It's their producers.
After Hour. Oh, it's the Golden Hour producers?
I think so.
Just what I wanted to hear from. What went into the moving bit?
Oh, Mike, 100%. They are funnier. 100%.
When the guys were riffing about the airport, what was it like behind the scenes?
All right, last one here. Thank you, Boaz.
Hamilton Berger. Griffin took over the role of incredulous CTE guy.
Yeah, he did. He is filling the Schaub role of
I
trying to fill it.
know. I don't know a ton about Eric Griffin. I know Red Bar has covered him extensively. So I guess he is a wall cow to some people. I don't know if he fits that for us. I haven't watched enough of his stuff, but I do know he has that reputation, sort of kind of an annoying guy on a podcast.
All right. Would you like to go to? We have a 3-minute Maron clip that Electra narrated, which is just an article, or Opie. Up to you. What do you want?
You know what time is it? What time is it getting to be?
9:30.
Probably skip
9:30
the one
out
that I
here.
narrated. I don't know about that.
You know what? Yeah, we'll skip the Maron Rogan. Maron's bitter about Rogan. You guys get it. I'm sorry, Electra, that we made you do. I didn't
It's
know they were.
actually an interesting article. He's like calling them fascists and stuff. It's a little.
It is
edgy.
interesting. It is interesting, but Maron's done it so many times that I figure,
right.
you know, like he blames Rogan for the end of the world, where
That
it's
was
like
45 minutes I will never get back.
oh, you know, then we'll play it. I didn't realize.
No,
it's
I'm
okay.
totally
No, it's okay.
kidding.
You could have just read the article. I maintain Casey Day can't read. I will
No, I
say it.
cannot.
I think he is illiterate.
I'm an idiot.
He always makes Electra read, and I don't know why.
It's true. You're
That's
right.
why she's here. I am illiterate. But look how far I've gotten as an illiterate cartoon. It's amazing. All
Well,
right,
I'm
let's
sorry
get-
you wasted your time, Electra. I apologize.
Oh my gosh,
She didn't
don't
waste her time.
apologize.
We'll
get
play
to
it
the
on.
But I do kind of like hearing you apologize. Do it again.
Yeah, you guys can talk about it on Catch 22 tonight, right?
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, tonight. We're switching it up.
Yes. So if you want to watch these guys later, you'll be watching Unboxing Eric, right? After this?
Yes, correct. Right after this show, stay in the chat and you get some Eric.
Hang around. If you've never watched them do that before, Why Are You Laughing type stuff, where they're breaking down like old Howard Stern, but specifically Eric the Midget's calls into Howard Stern. So stick around for that, I would say. Check the Unboxing Eric series out if you never have. And then they're live again tonight. They're playing a doubleheader tonight over there on HACKRIDE Studios.
That's right. And we did steal that from Why Are You Laughing? Thank you, Mike.
Oh, not really. That's not what I meant. That's
No,
not
we
what I
did,
meant.
though.
I just mean like if you like, because we talk a lot about like old Stern stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff.
I love you. Why Are You Laughing? Make sure you go check that out at blindmike.net. See, we
Oh,
can
what a
promote
guy.
each other. Look at us jerking each other off here. All right, Opie, this one's called Ron's Audio.
Yeah, so Ron the Waiter is becoming a fascinating character to me.
He is.
And Opie has decided Ron is above the rest of the gang at Gepard's. Like, I used to think Matt was sort of Opie's Gepard's co-host. Ron the Waiter has been elevated to a status that I'm not really sure I understand, because he'll co-host with Opie sometimes, and I would say his audio's not great. I don't think that's the most of his problems, but listen to his audio here and tell me if you think this guy should be doing a podcast every week or multiple times a week or however often he's on with the Opster.
I really struggled with this. Do I keep the audio as is so people can?
Oh, I hope you did.
I did.
Oh, thank God. Yes.
Yeah,
no, you need to not hear it the way you're
Yeah.
about to.
I did not enhance it, so do not blame me for this.
Okay.
Scott Watson, Ringworm Ronnie. Oh, God. What are you, a magician? You say Ringworm Ronnie, and guess what? There's Ringworm Ronnie.
By the way, I had to reach out.
Oh, hey, Ope, I'm coming to you from a submarine. I'm underwater, and I have a lot of tiny drinks to get to. So I won't do anything.
Speaking of Stern, you'll like this reference. I'm Darth Nihilus. He's Darth Nihilus.
How's the audio? We're good?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Speaking of
Right off
audio, could we mute Electra real quick and just see if this? I want to test something. Oh,
She's
yeah.
muted. It's the fan.
Could we keep it
Electra,
that
you-
way? I hear
No,
something.
I was already muted that whole time, yo.
Oh,
Do you hear
something
it
just
now?
changed. No, now we're good.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
We have nice weather, Mike. So we
Sorry
need
for blaming you,
fans.
Electra.
She's really getting it this morning.
The bat I don't
She's
like.
not.
No, she's gonna get it. You know what I'm saying?
It gets a little muffly, but maybe get a little closer to your phone. I don't know. John Courts will tell me if your audio's good or not, Ron. Ringworm Ronnie.
So I had to reach out to I had
No,
to reach
no,
out to
don't
Star
even shut up. Don't even worry. Let's just go on at the scene. I think the people are trying to just mess with you. There's everything fine. So, what are the topics today?
Maybe my favorite new Blind Mike character. Trunk Blind Mike.
Watson, because I posted, hey, Opie and Ronnie are going live today, 1:30. And Scott Watson goes, oh, I'll be there. I'll meet you guys there. If I didn't say anything, Scott Watson would have ended up at Get Pad.
No, we're doing the get parts without you
It's
later
funny
on.
when you hear the change back to how good Opie's mic is.
It is.
Oh. You do live on the same fucking street, huh? I suppose so.
I'm just gonna mumble more. So you guys are being
Ron's really taken with himself too. I didn't know this about Ron before on the times we've watched him, but
Oh, Ron is a ham. And you'll if you're coming to Boston for WATP Live, you'll meet 1,000 Rons. Like there's a bunch of assholes like this who think I was born for stardom. I was born for showbiz, baby. And that's what Ron is like, no matter how bad his audio is. So Opie there, for whatever reason, doesn't really notice his audio is that bad until the chat starts telling him, like, hey, we can't fucking hear Ron.
Yeah. It's called testing. Testing
Yeah.
1, 2. Proper modulation.
So, do you want the latest update? Is that what you
Yeah, I
want?
would like to hear the update on the foot, but I'm also distracted. I want to make sure the audio's okay.
Hey, we got to make sure that is when you tell us about your disgusting foot condition, we need crystal clear audio for that. Please make sure we can hear every syllable, Ron. We don't want to miss out on the fungus growing on your foot.
Horrible audio coming in, Ron. Ron.
How you might know better how it works, Casey. How can Opie not tell that the audio is horrible?
Well, you might hear it differently. He is not wearing headphones, at least that I can see. So he's just listening to speakers. So in a room, it might sound just like maybe the room is distorting the sound.
Gotcha. Or even he just thinks like, oh, that's my computer. That's how it sounds or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's part of the problem though if he's not wearing headphones.
But that's crazy that he's not able to discern how terrible this is.
Yeah.
From Rodney, what do you do different today?
Everything's on. I don't know what to say. Hold on.
It sounds a little low, Ron. A little low.
A little?
He's talking and it's totally off now, by the way.
There would sound engineers would clamor for this. Like if there's a movie where like a guy is trapped underwater or something, you're like, well, give me this microphone. This will be perfect. And Opie's like, I guess it is. It sounds a tad off. It sounds like maybe it's not up to perfect quality.
Now there's no audio, Ron. Now there's no audio.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, whatever. Let's try to make this work, okay?
No, not whatever. And by the way, this is like right when the show starts. They're like 2 minutes into the show when Ron comes on. This so easily could have been tested off air. But Opie's like, I got to do my intro. And then the ball of energy that is Ron bursts onto the scene. So just wait for him to get there, tell him his mic is shit, and if he can't fix it, like, oh, I guess you can't come on the show today.
Also, it's a way of shit microphone that I can't really explain. I don't know why it sounds like that.
Oh,
I've never heard.
Ron will. Don't worry.
Okay.
Ron will explain.
Okay.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
No, it's not.
It's
No, I gotta tell you, I think this actually sounds really good. Just can't have to say. I think this is pretty good.
Here's the way to
fine.
It's fine. Everything's great.
Update. What you have for breakfast? I don't want to gross you out, man.
Oh, well, I'm
You
glad
what?
I forgot. Hold on, I want to hear that again. I forgot he did that. So Ron's like, no, it's fine. What do you say? I just carry over the car. And Opie can't even fucking hear him. He can't pretend to go along with this bit.
You stop talking, right? Now I can. Okay.
What you have for breakfast? I don't want to gross you out, man.
You what?
Great way to do a show. Great.
And none of this is a hint to Ron that no, the chat is not trolling you. They can't fucking hear you.
Yes. Poor Ron is the next one.
Well, you start to feel a little bad for Ron because it's like, Opie, just cut bait here. Why do you need Ron so badly? This is not Anthony Cumia. Anthony, you should be going to these lengths to broadcast with him again. Ron the waiter is not enhancing your show. Just say, hey, sorry, Ron, we'll try again tomorrow. But of course, Opie's a dick to him here.
With the foot.
So 2 days ago, I woke up and I was like, what the fuck? There were like a couple maggots in there. So I had to go to the emergency room.
So I gotta ask. The upside of having Ron on is what I really don't understand, where it's like, we gotta try to fix this mic problem. He's telling us about a maggot that bit his foot or something.
It's living in his infested wound.
This is just a disgusting problem this man has. I don't want to hear about it.
They do put sterile maggots on wounds. Yep.
Oh, good. I was hoping to hear these two old men talk about their medical conditions, which, don't worry, they will.
Yeah, you get to see a belly soon, folks. Stick around. Oh, my God.
Can you hear me?
Dude, everyone says your audio's
No,
sucks.
no.
Like everybody.
We can't hear about the maggots in your feet. Well, thank you, actually, for this whole thing. Opie, thank you for muting this man, however you did it.
Everybody. But what did I say to you earlier? I go, make sure your audio's good if we're going to do this today, Ron.
Hold on.
What do you mean, hold on? Every time there's something with your audio.
All right, take it back. Opie should be a dick to him. The idea that he's like, no, he's just here. I think it's going to be fun. Let me figure this out. Fuck this guy. He should be like, oh, sorry, Ope. I'm going to try and fix it. Not, no, I think it's
Yeah, no, it's a new genre, lo-fi podcasting. We're doing a new thing here.
Tell me what to do.
Scott Watson says it sounds like you're talking through your ball bag.
I'm going to reset and get back to you.
Oh, that's great. Reset. You know, you would think if you were doing these live streams on a regular basis, maybe you would get an actual microphone, Ron. But Ron's resetting. All right, whatever.
Yeah, I think Opie's right here.
Whatever. Should we kick him out? Kick him from the studio? Yeah, goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye, Ron. Goodbye.
We got it, Opie. We got it.
Goodbye. He's looking... I love that. He doesn't know how to kick him, so he just keeps saying it until he finds the button.
Goodbye.
Where's that?
Well, he says it in a funny way, which really, I think, sells it. But, like, Opie is right. If this guy's going to be live streaming, maybe invest in a better microphone if you're always having these problems. What I would say to Opie is, like, what is the desire to make sure he's on? Why do you need Ron the waiter so much? What is it about this man that screams talent to you? That's what I can't figure out.
Discount meals. Waiter discount is my...
I don't think he even offers that. I don't think that's what's happening. Yeah.
Discounted drinks was my guess. God damn. All right.
Why? Look, now he's frozen. Whatever. All right, where were we? So where were we? Yeah, we're, you know, there's some meds that need to be purchased.
So Opie gets back into... He's talking to someone is an unnamed person in his family has to pay an exorbitant amount for some medical procedure or meds or something. He doesn't name the person. He doesn't tell us the condition. He just is talking about how much of a pain in the ass it is that some stranger has to go through this. It makes me... Opie, what do you think about moving? What do you think about parking at the airport? You know, like, it makes me clamor for what the golden hour was discussing.
He's back. Audio's fixed. I'm sure, 100%.
Okay, all right. Now Ron got it all situated. Now let's get to his medical issues. Ronnie, take it away, big dog.
Instead of dealing with the real issues in America. Ron, if your audio, I'm telling you right now, Ron, if your audio still sucks, I'm going to get on.
It's going to be
what's the train to Queens? The N, the R, the 1, the 2, the Q, the what is it? Oh, now I can't hear you. Oh, hold on. Let me see if it's on my end. What, Ron?
Hold on. Can I just pay respect to Opie for 1 second? This guy knows New York like the back of his hand. It was really cool when he was like, look at all the trains I know.
Q.
R-N-A-Q.
Oh, it is Q. I'm glad we got an answer.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's not much better.
This is probably better. I think I fixed it. I'd love to know what he was doing in that time. I would love to know what he was doing.
Wiping off the speaker on the phone or something. It's got to be dust.
Like, what made him think he changed anything to where he's like, this is probably better. You want to know?
So I don't. Just by the way, I have the most state-of-the-art phone. I have the Pixel Pro 9.
So you asked earlier, what's the problem? I've never heard a microphone like this.
Yes.
You're correct. You never have.
It's not a microphone.
No. He's using his phone microphone, I guess, to be picked up. He's basically making a collect call. is what Ron is doing.
On speaker. Okay.
Which now it makes sense. You're like, okay, that sounds more like a phone call than a guy talking into a microphone.
Yes. Yes.
This is the most advanced phone in the world. I have on the audio all the way.
Yeah, everyone's saying no better, Ron. So why don't you throw that state-of-the-art phone?
The audio's on all the way, Mike.
That's like me saying I turned the TV volume up all the way. Can you hear me? It's a different piece of equipment.
It checks out.
Phone in the East River.
You can still. It does. It sounds a little weird at the headphones, but you can hear me. I can hear you.
And then put yourself in cement shoes.
No, you're lying, Opie. I mean, even in my headphones, it sounds a little muffled, but I think you guys are lying to me. I like that he's fighting with Opie where he's like, come on, Opie, we can hear each other. Let's broadcast. What do you say? Let's get into it.
Yeah, it's the idea of communication. If you understand what I'm saying, why do you actually have to hear it?
It's good enough. Sure, no one will listen because they can't fucking hear me. That's fine. Why are you making such a big deal about it?
And jump two.
So do you want to actually see the latest update on the ringworm Ronnie?
So you're gonna make believe your audio's good, even though everyone else is saying that your audio sucks. So your solution to this is, you know what? Let's just plow ahead and ignore the people saying your audio stinks.
So I don't know what to do here.
How far are you from your phone, Ron? How about you get a little microphone like all the TikTokers out there, the little thing.
Based on the sound that's coming from him getting closer to the mic is not going to work. That's not the issue here. And Opie, fucking 45 years in broadcasting or whatever he's at now, just get close. Eat the mic, Ron. That's the problem.
It does give us a close-up view of Ron's forehead, which is nice.
And you can put it on your lapel.
Can you hear me now?
It's exactly
no.
He's eating the phone right now.
What buttons is he pushing that he makes him think there's a change happening?
I don't know.
It's
I don't know what it is. You know what? I'll tell you what though. This is what I'm going to do. I have a couple guys at the Verizon store. They'll
You're going to the wrong store.
Verizon store. I'll go check the streamer store.
You're using the wrong piece of technology. Just because it's an appliance. I went to Sears and I talked to their fridge guy, and I think he told me I'm going to be okay now, so this should be good.
I bought a microwave as well.
Right quick. I don't understand why it's not working. I got everything connected.
Your lack of understanding is crystal clear, unlike your sound quality.
I am a fan of this Ron guy, by the way. I think Opie's hit something here.
I'm smitten with Ron. I'm falling in love with Ron. Yes,
Opie, you're gonna blow it. We all know it. You got something here.
I'll tell. Well, hold your horses there. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
but here's the problem with Ron the waiter. I think Opie is confusing thoughts because at one time or another, I think Opie was pretty good at discerning these two things, and I think they've gotten clouded over time. Opie looks at Ron and sees a whack packer, a guy that Opie and Anthony would have brought in and made fun of the way they did with Bobo or Lady Di or Stalker Patty or any of those people. What Opie has done is implemented him as co-host.
Yes.
So it's like if Opie said, hey, Anthony's out today. Bobo, you're hosting the show with me. and I'm going to take everything you say seriously and have political discussions with you and talk about your medical issues in a serious fashion. And that's the show we're going to do. He's totally confused what Ron's role should be on a show.
So it's like bringing in like Riley Martin to host the Howard Stern show. It just
Yeah,
it makes
exactly. Or
no
Eric
sense.
the Midget. Yeah, it's
Eric
like, hey,
okay.
Robin's out, Eric, you're doing the news, and we're not gonna really make fun of you. We're gonna treat you as an equal.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, that is hilarious.
It's way worse than normal. It's way worse than normal.
I don't know what to do.
Well,
poor Ron. Oh no,
that is. I don't know what to do.
That was sad. I think that I don't know a lot about Ron, but I suspect that encapsulates a lot of his life. Where he's just like, I just don't know what to do.
Also, being Opie's co-host, you always end up here.
Right.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's what many of Anthony Kumi has uttered those words before.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Well,
you can hear me.
Huh?
People. I think people are complaining. I think they're doing it on purpose.
All right.
Yeah. It's all a lie.
It's the trolls.
It's a
Come on,
big
so-
scheme.
Although I did say 10 seconds ago, it does sound different and weird in my headphones. They're lying.
The ringworm, Ronnie.
All right, now we get into some gross stuff, Mike. This is gross.
Ron, by the way, apparently has ringworm, which I thought was a dog's disease. Am I wrong about that?
People can get it too.
Okay, all right. Well, evidently they can and they have. Ron has gotten ringworm, apparently.
Waiters are highly susceptible, is what I hear.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's pretty contagious.
But yeah, this is gross. People, if you don't want to, if you're eating, I would just say,
This might be a listen-only thing,
Thank you for that warning, because
Yeah.
some people don't do that, and I appreciate the trigger warning.
Yeah, everyone's going to be envious of Blind Mike in about 10 seconds.
You ready?
Yes. Well, you can't even put your foot on camera properly, Ron.
I got a
Hold
cramp.
on. Don't you worry.
Oh, I was hoping that was the white light from your relatives behind you, but
Can you see it?
Yeah, I could. That's not eczema. That's not eczema.
First of all, how the fuck would Opie know what eczema is? But is it like this is all Opie can do with it? Like back in the day, they would bring some mutant like Ron in who has whatever the fuck this is on his leg. And Anthony and Jim and Patrice and all the people in studio would riff on it, and then they'd go down different avenues. There'd be some movie reference that Anthony makes that they're all quoting lines from. It was magic how they were able to do that. All Opie is able to do is say eczema in a funny tone. Watch this.
On it?
Yeah, yeah, you're on it. That's not eczema.
What is it?
I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you this much: it's not eczema.
It's not getting funnier the more he says it. I think he says it a couple more times after that clip. But also, like, it tells you a lot about Ron for him to show him this, whatever the fuck, rash or whatever the fuck it is. And he goes, "What is it then?" Well, he wants an answer from Opie. Like, Opie's going to be like, you put some cream on that, it'll be cured in 2 to 3 weeks.
Too wet. It's too wet for cream. That thing
Very
is a
wet. Pustules, broken open, wet, gross.
Oh, good.
Not
Oh,
good.
goody.
It's a place for maggots, Mike. Just saying. The next one here is real issues.
Oh, yeah. So Opie, like I said, Opie doesn't want to be bogged down with, horseshit news topics. He wants to get in the real stuff Americans care about. And he's going to do that right now.
Can you hear me now?
I mean, come on.
I feel bad for your boyfriend if that's
Okay, Mike, you are just like whatever this clip part was to you, you're missing. The man is putting his enormous belly on 90% of the screen.
I could tell that's what's happening. I couldn't see it, but I tried to avoid as much of that as I could because it goes on a lot. It goes on a lot longer, but
This is an amazing shot right here. It's just amazing.
if that's
Look, you couldn't see my face.
all right, Rod. Now you're doing parlor tricks because because your audio. All right. Oh my God. All
He's
right.
picking his belly button. Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
All right, don't take the lint out of your belly button.
Okay.
All right, people are yelling, "Turn it off! Turn it off!"
No
Hey,
one
Ron.
they can hear me fine now.
I don't know if they can hear you. I don't care. I'm having
no, they
fun.
still
Listen.
can't. Why does he keep saying that? Like, I bet finally the jig is up. Now that I've exposed my belly button lint, finally you'll admit you can all hear me. It's like, no.
Oh my God, I am so sorry, Skinny Chad, for calling you the weirdest thing on today's show. we spoke too soon.
Listen, I started this like someone close to me needs some meds that are over $2,000, $2,100. It's not life or death or anything crazy like that, but these meds are needed to be purchased. And we called the insurance company. They're like, oh yeah, your copay on that is
the third time he's brought this up
$2,000.
on the show, by the way. It's the first time we played it, but he's brought it up on his show 3 other times to just This is, if you, right now, I dare you, I don't know the hours today because it's Father's Day, but if you're able to, go to a Walgreens or a CVS, sit in the back by the pharmacy, wait long enough, you'll hear this rant. You will hear Nana Opie come in and complain about the prices of drugs.
$100. You're a smart man. Our whole country fights about the dumbest, stupidest shit day after day. Think P. Diddy, think Thornburg, think the Epstein files. Think
it's funny that he listed 2 rape cases.
We don't fight about those.
but he's like all this meaningless horse shit, like these people who were sex trafficking women. You know, all this insignificant stuff.
All the stuff that's got us 50-50 as a country, you know, like drugging and raping the women of the country, you know.
On in California, even though 99.9% of the people in California went about their days like nothing was happening out there. But let's babble about that for another 2 or 3 days.
He's not lying though. I mean, I didn't care.
When there's real issues in America, like meds costing an insane amount of fucking money.
There's real issues. My auntie had to pay too much money.
My auntie
I don't like it.
I don't want to get this call from my aunt to borrow money ever again.
You're telling me
I always forget about his.
I
got some insight into this actually. They do cost too much.
Opie, you're never going to listen to me, but do not change a thing. Keep his audio this way. Make this the show.
It is perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
It's going to cost you $2,000 and you have insurance already?
Yes, bro. This is what people deal with in America. I'm not the only one. That's why I'm bringing it up.
He even goes into a cunty little tone when he does. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm paying too much money. Like he does a whiny little baby tone when he says it.
From his mansion on the Hudson.
Give me more tax cuts for my $2 billion house, but I don't want to pay for those with medicine.
Right.
Asshole.
This is what I'm thinking. The fact that the meds you want to get are $2,000 and the insurance will cover it.
Oh, good. Let's get Ron's serious take on this. I'm glad.
Show me your belly again.
What does Ron think about the pharmaceutical industry?
I want to see belly maggots. Go.
Meds are these like for cosmetic reasons?
No, it's.
I gotta give Opie credit. Yeah, he's bitching because his wife wanted a facelift. That's what he's bitching about. It wouldn't make sense.
Those $2,000 pills that make you look better. What are you talking about?
Honestly, it's just a basic gut thing.
No.
Nice.
Sound got better, Mike. We finally got here.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So Ron fixes his sound here. Now the boys can really rip. Let's hear it.
Opie, the sound has gotten better. It's gotten better now, as you can tell.
Before, I could hear the sound wasn't better. Before he said the sound has gotten better, you could tell he just made a noise, and you could hear that the sound isn't better. And then he's like, "Well, they're telling me now that the sound is worse. I think I'm crystal clear."
It's the as you can tell that is the cherry on the top of that particular comedy.
As you can tell.
As you can tell.
Opie, the sound has gotten better. It's gotten better now, as you can tell.
No, it doesn't sound better. People are like, no, and people are on my side. They're like, if Ron's going to be doing these live streams on a semi-regular basis, when is he going to realize that he might need to upgrade some equipment?
I have the most advanced phone in the world.
You need an actual.
Stop saying that.
It does make you look like an idiot.
I have a state-of-the-art toaster oven. Why can't you hear me on a podcast? Your phone quality does not matter.
Well, the guys at T-Mobile beg to differ, Mike.
I don't even have to vacuum myself. I have one of the Roombas that goes around the house for me. So I don't understand why can't you hear my microphone, because that's a state-of-the-art piece of technology.
What's he on, a Palm Pixie?
The Roomba podcast connection is not often talked about.
He does mention the phone. He says a Pixel 9, I think. Is that the newest version of that phone? I don't know.
Say a pixie.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
I don't know.
Is that what they record the Joe Rogan Experience with?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Then you know what? He has a legitimate gripe then.
Yes, he does.
I do an extra microphone.
I'm gonna go to my Verizon guy later today.
Oh, the Verizon.
Stop bothering the Verizon guy.
You guys, my brother works for Verizon. I feel so bad for him right now.
Is he always bitching about the amount of people that trying to record a podcast?
Yeah.
The amount of streamers that comes and sees me is goddamn annoying.
There's a guy that
Tim Dillon was in this morning, and I had to be like, no, I know it's a state-of-the-art phone. I don't know why your audio's not working.
Have you ever heard of this guy named the Rattlesnake? Yeah, he was getting some dropouts on his podcast. So he came in and he talked to me about it. What the fuck are you talking?
Take care of it.
I have a guy. By the way, he sold me this phone for $300.
All right, wonderful.
This phone is under $2,000.
I want to play a game with you.
You don't think that might be the problem? It's a $2,000 phone that you got for $300. Maybe the deal wasn't that great, Ron.
It's the same place I get my foot doctor work done at.
The Kardashians, by any stretch
If
of the
he got that would be
imagination.
like Opie getting that medicine he was talking about. He's like, yeah, they paid me to take it. Yeah, it was actually they were happy I took it off the shelves for him. Like Ron got this phone for nothing, and he's like, I don't understand why it's not working. That's crazy.
It gave him an area to dust on the cabinet when I bought it.
Nation, but I was kind of looking at headline news, and there's a story about Kim Kardashian. Guess how many nannies she
This
has?
is my favorite.
I think she has three, maybe four.
Remember earlier in the show when Opie's like, they're distracting us with all this bullshit. The Diddy trial, the Epstein files, all distractions. You know the important issues? How many nannies does Kim Kardashian have? Let's hear this asshole who's, it's all bull. I'm tired of talking about fake shit, man. Here's the real stuff. Let's hear him introduce this topic again.
There's a story about Kim Kardashian. Guess how many nannies she has? I think she has three, maybe four kids. Let's say she has three kids. Guess how many nannies Kim Kardashian has?
Ooh, can I guess, Ope? Hold on, Ope. Can I guess?
Yeah.
A lot. Is it a lot? Is it more than the average person has?
Maggot Foot was really thinking about it. He was like, God, how many does she have?
I'm tired of people talking about all these fake issues. Now, Ron, how many nannies does Kim Kardashian have? I don't know, Ope. She's very rich and very busy. I'm sure she has a few nannies. I never thought Kim Kardashian was the world's greatest mom. That's not stunning to me that she has a few nannies.
I don't think my mom would ask that question. That is a lady question.
If you were watching the Kardashians, you wouldn't ask that question.
Oh my God. But Opie, you got to keep Ron. He is a fucking superstar.
He's a star. Ron is a star. I heard Karl play his stand-up recently.
Oh, there's stand-up. Oh no.
Oh, there's stand-up.
He looks like he was from a movie. Has he been in movies?
I cannot imagine.
He's a waiter, so chances are he's an actor.
He does seem like the type of guy that was like in the background of a Fairley Brothers movie or something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he seems like that, and we'll tell you about it 4,000 times.
Right.
Mugging way too hard as an
but
extra.
Yeah, but nothing you'd recognize him from. No.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. Should we start
Yeah,
packing up our things and get out of here?
Let me just check super chats real quick. Just make sure we don't miss anyone. Nope, I think we're all good there. Where
No need to humiliate me like that. But
Yeah.
Get one in.
So, Jay.
Get one.
blindmike.net is where you can go for all of our stuff, whether it's Why Are You Laughing, Who Are These Socials, or the Blind Mike Project. Our links are blindmike.net. If you listen on any audio platform, leave a 5-star review. We appreciate that. And if you're watching on YouTube, where we're live Sundays at 10 a.m., then like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend about it. All that stuff helps more people find the show. We appreciate you guys doing that. And then if you want to subscribe, become a member. You get early access and bonus content to all kinds of stuff that we do. Like I said, we're doing Sam Hyde versus Tim Heidecker. We have to record it again, but it'll get up eventually. And that's actually a very cool... A lot of people have suggested that. And so I'm excited to get into it. It's a very interesting topic. And Craig and I did a bonus episode where we went over the podcast war we're embroiled in. with GD Fenderson. We talked about the Crackamico song. I don't care for it. Crackamico saying some nasty things. I didn't like it. And I forget what else. Oh, we talked about Theo Vaughn's. The guy that Theo Vaughn choked out made like a TikTok. And he is maybe the biggest douche on the planet looking for attention. So we talked about all that on our bonus episode Tuesday, if you want to check that out. And we'll be doing more of that. Now that Quincy is coming to an end, we also play the Quincy drinking game for members, which I think we might be doing this coming Friday.
I was never invited on that one.
Well, I don't know that Craig even remembers he's committed to it, so we'll see if it's happening. But we'll let you know.
Fair enough.
Electra, this time drink beer, not vodka.
Gotcha.
That was a wild mistake.
It was whiskey, not vodka.
Even crazier. But yeah, we'll be doing that soon, hopefully. So check that out. You can check Craig out at verygoodshow.org. If you're a Craig file and you miss him, go tell him at verygoodshow.org. And you can support these two ragamuffins at hackridestudios.com. DJ ELECTRA has a YouTube channel. HACKRIDE has a YouTube channel. Go subscribe to both, and they'll be live right when I'm done talking over on HACKRIDE Studios, where they'll be talking about Eric the actor, Eric the midget on the Howard Stern Show.
That's right. Thank you so much, Mike. Get over there if you haven't seen Unboxing Eric, because we do it late at night. Here's your chance. We're probably going to keep it here, just because it's a clip show, and so it sort of makes more sense than us Catch 22. Catch 22 is a night show. We're going to be drinking tonight, so if you want to come and hang out with us, drunkards, that makes a lot more sense for us.
And Unboxing Eric does not suck.
No, it's amazing.
Come watch it.
You
Come
sold me.
Adam Bush's favorite show.
It doesn't suck. You hear that,
yes.
gang?
Yeah.
Electra, are you still doing it? What's your YouTube channel?
DJ Electra Fry.
All right. Support the kids, huh? What do you say?
Aw.
All right.
You're the best.
The kids that are 20 years older.
Can we get out of here now?
Yes. Have a wonderful day.
I have to. It's Father's Day, not mine.
Happy Father's
Day.
I have to see a father today. So.
Aw. Everyone be happy that you got your dads. Mine's dead. Have a happy Father's Day.
Bye.
And we have a meme transition.
Hey, it's Boogie. Sappers through the way, everyone out. Now, this is very interesting. Now, really, ladies, if you're listening, and men, and everybody in between.
If I tell you you've got a homicide, buddy, you've got a homicide.
I hope to hear from you soon.
I am proud to own the Trumpy Bear, and I will always be proud to be an American.
Put it in the outro.
Until then, have yourself a great day, and as always,
there's no cum on my mic.
Rock on.
Stop the baloney, huh? What kind of statement is that?
I wrote it.
One of my favorite players to cover when he was here was Mike Vrabel. Tell me Mike Vrabel's story. Whatever, dude. I keep it cool at the gym.
Piss on it.
Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. All right. Stop, my belly hurts.
My dad was in the military.
Was that, sir?
Can you please kindly F off, please?
If a person is on a bridge threatening to jump, how do we know that he wants help?
Okay, I hope nothing bad happened.
Money, 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 money. Fuck, please.
Anyway, God bless America.
Put it in the outro.